Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Happy Friday. The show in its entirety is heading to Rocky Top tomorrow. Lucas tried to fight me and Robert off about it. He was holding strong. He said, no, it's a great weekend of college football. What did you say? You said you'd rather be in a padded room surrounded by friends and loved ones in case Georgia does you dirty tomorrow?
Well, we had tickets, or we thought we had tickets, and then it seemed like we didn't have tickets, and I gaslighted myself, and I convinced myself it's okay, I'll be surrounded by loved ones at 2:30 Central on Saturday. And then the Rocky Top gods bestowed upon us some tickets to this game on Saturday.
You got catfished by somebody who I think wants to probably make sweet, sweet love to you at some point. But we're going to, we've been talking about your butt too much on air. And it seems that we have attracted some less than favorable characters into your DMs offering you promises of tickets if they can just get a look at those cheeks.
Look, I'll get in that van for the football tickets. I'm not saying I'm going to do anything, but I'll get in the van and deal with the rest later.
I'm fired up. Robert's fired up. Where the show is collectively going to the liquor store after this to pack the coolers, and then we will head to Knoxville, Tennessee tomorrow morning to see the number 6 Georgia Bulldogs take on the Tennessee Volunteers, number 15, hosting number 6. Now, the news as of this morning is that David Sanders, the offensive tackle for the Vols, is going to miss this game. He is one of 2 offensive tackles that play football in the state of Tennessee that will miss their upcoming games. J.C. Latham copped to the fact that he's out.
Yeah, how about that? The self-breaking news. Yeah, I'm out this week.
Well, he kind of... Corey Curtis asked him the question, and he basically said everything in the lead up to that. I don't know if you saw the locker room video with all of us where he's talking about basically going through everything as if he was going to start the game. So he basically said that he wasn't starting. But then Corey Curtis of News 2 asked him directly, so you're out. And he said, he paused, and then he said, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Oli Udoh starting for you against the Los Angeles Rams on Sunday. I cannot promise you that Sunday will be a favorable outcome. Saturday feels much, much more promising. What will likely happen is that the 3 of us will go to Knoxville. We will scream our heads off and act like idiots, and then Lucas and I will come back to do Titans pregame responsibilities on Sunday and not have voices.
Oh, no, we'll be very professional sounding on Sunday, as is normally the case. So J.C. Latham out for the Titans and David Sanders out for the Vols. 2 right tackles in the state of Tennessee not playing in pretty big games. Titans home opener, Vols SEC opener. Now, Tennessee, the difference is, has a sample size of their right tackle replacement in Jesse Perry. Now, I will say this is some of Vols fans' frustrations with Josh Heupel because the David Sanders Jr. injury popped up out of nowhere Saturday morning. No inkling of anything until Saturday morning of week 1 of the Syracuse game. And suddenly it's like, wait, what? David Sanders isn't playing. Why? He's on the sideline wearing a jersey with no pads on. And it felt like, all right, it's just minor. He picked up something that he's just not going to go today. And then against ETSU, he doesn't play. And it's like, all right, I mean, it's ETSU, so I guess they'll get him back for Georgia. And now it's being reported that he's not playing against Georgia. So Josh Heupel has done many, many good things at Tennessee, and it is his prerogative to hold back as much injury information as he wants to. That is the state of college football. But it is slightly frustrating to have that inclination that it's just a minor thing here, where clearly it's more than just a minor thing that was held out of week 1 as a precaution if he's missing this game. But at the end of the day, do you want to roll out a true freshman for his first career college snap if he's not 100% against that Georgia front?
No.
Maybe not. You've seen what Jesse Perry looks like with that offensive line. It has looked good. There is potential, I feel like, for Tennessee's offensive line to be even improved from last year. This obviously is a whole different animal. Meanwhile, for the Titans, depth is a little bit more of an issue at right tackle against one of the best fronts in the NFL.
We got a loaded show today. We got Chris Doring of the SEC Network. We've got Coach Dave McInness to talk Titans and Rams. Brett Kern will be in studio, as is the custom, for the noon hour. And our good buddy Matt Murphy from WTN, just down the hall at our sister station, is a Georgia Bulldogs fan. He's been barking at Lucas in the hallways all week long, and he will bring that to the air. Now, you have started a fight amongst your fellow Vols fans, namely John Reed, who was on the flagship edition of this show, as terrible as that was, getting people hyped before Vols games on Friday. Will John Reed make an appearance on the radio show today? Because I feel we need him.
He will at 11 a.m.
Ah, yes.
Big John Reed will be on to counter. I guess he will preface the Matt Murphy segment, which will be at noon.
Robert expressed a lack of interest in doing the show today because he just wants to get drunk and watch college football.
No, I'm here, baby.
Okay.
I'm here for all of it.
You're in it?
Whatever you need. This Friday is the antithesis of Monday.
Yes.
Where you got nothing from me Monday.
You were useless.
You can have everything from me today. Whatever you want.
Vibes are high. Vibes are high, and that's a rare thing with a football weekend in the state of Tennessee of late. But we're going to make it happen and hope for a good result on Saturday at Neyland Stadium. At least a good game. Obviously, more investment in the Vols winning, of course, but just a good game across the board. And it would be a huge opportunity, as we've talked about a great many times. Josh Heupel's best shot at taking down Kirby Smart. He's had 4 chances to do so, hadn't been able to do it 4 years prior to Josh Heupel's arrival. They have also struggled to beat Kirby Smart, an 8-year winning streak for the Georgia Bulldogs, whether it's at Neyland, whether it's in Athens. We'll see if that can't be broken on Saturday afternoon. I love going to live college football games. I love going to Neyland Stadium. I've only been once. But that is such a unique experience. It's so different from what I experience on Sundays pretty typically. But 110, 105, 106, how many people? 106,000?
About 105.
105.
102.
105,000.
Give or take.
I think
depends on the game.
I think this game is probably going to be closer to 105 than 102, if I had to guess. Either way, people just losing their minds for a full 60-minute football game. I cannot wait.
It has reduced some, so it's just under 102 because they've done renovations that has slightly reduced the capacity.
That's fine.
But it's going to be, I actually loved what Will said this morning on Ramon and Will, that Neyland is going to be
surprised. I actually loved what Will said.
That Neyland will be biblically loud.
Yes.
This weekend.
Yes.
That's a great way to put it.
Well, last time they played was the loudest moment recorded in Neyland when we were there.
Allegedly. Where did you see that? You've said that multiple times.
I think I heard Will say it.
He just was there, so he wanted to be a part of it.
It was supersonic. It was so loud.
That was the Georgia game where Jalen Wright on the first snap of the game took it 75 yards to the house, and then Georgia thumped Tennessee the rest of the way, outscoring the Vols 38-3.
What were you doing in that moment?
I was pursuing a concession stand because I said, it's early, it's the first snap, I'm going to scurry down here.
He left me.
And Robert was in the stands alone. I did see it.
Before or after you pooped behind a youth ministry center?
After.
Way I was clean, squeaky clean.
I was able to. I ended up watching it like from the concourse and hugging strangers, but I would have loved to have been hugging Robert. So hopefully we can right that wrong.
No, it's okay. I got hugged by plenty of strangers. It's like if you ever wanted to meet somebody, go to a college football game and have something good happen.
Go to an SEC college football game, and then you're one of the tribe.
You could come to ECU games.
I would love to experience an ECU game.
I don't know how we get us there, but there is
ECU?
an airport. There is ECU football.
Where?
Oh, Greenville, USA, baby.
I don't think I want to go to that.
It would be like a 10-hour drive. Yeah, you would not fit in there, but Lucas would love it.
I'd love it.
When I tell you there are people cooking whole pigs at tailgates, like ski shots, oysters, crab legs, shrimp.
Oh, okay. I'm in.
And anything you could think of food-wise, it's like what do they say in Beauty and the Beast? It's a culinary calve. That's what it is at ECU games.
Yeah, because as great as SEC environments are, there's a lot of people there that are there for the spectacle, the fun. People like you.
Me.
People at ECU-type tailgates are there because they love ECU
love
football, and I would love to be a part of that. But no, Saturday is going to be just a wall of noise. And the key is for, especially defensively, Tennessee to keep inflating the crowd and not allow the air to be taken out of the stadium by third and long conversions, by quarterback run game, by Georgia just grinding you down. So we'll see. We'll see how the crowd and the team play off one another on Saturday.
I've lived vicariously through Vols fans because I didn't have, we didn't go to college football games at Indiana. This was long before Indiana. I mean, Indiana's never really been relevant in football that way, but we would tailgate, we would go home and watch the Notre Dame game at the 3:30 SEC kick because that's where the good football was being played. So, the tailgating experience is something I'm intimately familiar with. Actually going into a game and getting to be a part of an awesome atmosphere is something that my college experience, at least on a football side of things, lacked. So I'm looking forward to being a part of it on Saturday, and I know everybody else is as well. 615-737-1045 is the number. If you would like to get involved, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch is where you can interact with the show on the F&M Bank chat.
We are looking forward to being a part of Ron Slay's tailgate outside of Circle Park before the game as well. And I hear Ron Slay just made an appearance on SEC this morning with one Chris Doring.
Oh.
What a coincidence.
I want to sit with him during a game.
That would be incredible.
I cannot imagine what he is like during a football game. I bet he is out of his mind.
Trying to just tee you up there for the tease.
I already said Chris Doring's on the show.
Yeah, but that would have been great. We'd be like, oh, that's Chris Doring's next.
Okay, Chris Doring next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Neyland Stadium is going to be one of the best atmospheres in college football this weekend, although there are great college football games across the board. You got Vandy in South Carolina, which is a sneaky good game, although how sneaky is it really? I mean, I saw Josh Pate's latest JP poll. Vanderbilt is ranked in the JP poll, if not the AP poll.
They should be.
I agree. South Carolina, Lucas is skeptical of them, though I don't think any of them are sneaking up on anybody this year, especially for as loud as Diego Pavia has been.
No, Vanderbilt certainly is not sneaking up on anybody. But yes, I said the other day that my powder is wet on South Carolina, maybe not being so good. I guess my powder is actually really dry on South Carolina, and I think everybody else's powder is wet on South Carolina would be the better way to phrase that. But I think Vanderbilt's got a chance at Williams-Brice Stadium, which will be rocking. I have my skepticisms about Williams-Brice Stadium, but I'm biased because my one experience there was that Tennessee 2014 comeback overtime win. And going into overtime, legions of South Carolina fans were leaving the stadium. The stadium was half empty as overtime was starting. I was like, what's happening here? But to their credit, they have some good environments there.
Florida is at LSU this weekend as well, which I'm sure we'll talk to Chris Doring of the SEC Network about. And then a rematch from last year, which should be a fun game. Texas A&M at Notre Dame this weekend, a night game on NBC. And then, of course, the night game on the SEC Network is the aforementioned Vanderbilt-South Carolina game.
Don't overlook Arkansas at Ole Miss, by the way. Fun quarterback matchup there. Talon Green versus Austin Simmons of Ole Miss. That one's in Oxford.
Seeing it.
Both 2-0. Ole Miss, the number 17 team in the country, had to squeak by Kentucky last week. And Sam Pittman under some level of pressure this year to show that his tenure at Arkansas is going to be more than good vibes and the occasional 7 to 8 win season.
He is like the evolved form of Biff Poggi. Like, Sam Pittman is like the Charizard to Biff Poggi's Charmander, if that makes sense. Like, do you ever see that? Like, look at somebody and be like, oh, he's not evolved yet. He's not.
I look at you every day.
I mean, okay, what would my evolved form? My evolved form probably Chris Farley.
It was more a joke about you being Cro-Magnon.
Okay, yes. My hunched over back and opposable thumbs.
Well, yeah, I mean, Biff Poggi, who is going to be the interim coach for Michigan, by the way. If you don't know Biff Poggi, just look him up. Huh?
Not Michigan.
Yes, from Michigan.
Oh, really?
He's the interim. I say interim. He is going to coach Michigan these next 2 games while Sharon Moore serves the self-imposed 2-game suspension.
I believe his official term is associate head coach.
He is the associate head coach, yep, which is what he was before he left to take the head coaching job at Charlotte. Promptly got fired after 2 seasons and now is back at Michigan.
All right, so you have been reasonable and rational about this Vols-Georgia matchup coming up. But, like, seriously, the David Sanders thing is not the end of the world, though there are reasons to believe that would be, if he was healthy, obviously that would be an advantage. He's not, so you don't want to throw him out there in his first SEC start that way. But beyond that, how concerned are you about the ability to stop Georgia's passing game, given that you're down 2 starting corners?
It is a concern until Tennessee shows that they can consistently get into the backfield and affect the quarterback when they play Georgia. It's going to be some level of concern. And again, we're talking about potentially, like if you're to listen to draft experts, and I know it felt like we did this in the lead up to last season with James Pierce Jr., that he was potentially the best pass rushing prospect. Obviously, that didn't end up happening in the draft. But the conversation now is that Jermod McCoy could very well be the first corner taken in the draft. You're talking about by far your most valuable NFL prospect currently on this team, and Jermod McCoy not playing. And Ricky Gibson, who Willie Martinez had some glowing things to say about a couple weeks ago. He said down the stretch last season that Gibson was even a little more consistent in man coverage than Jermod McCoy was. Both of those guys missing. You're relying on a true freshman in Ty Redmond. You're relying on a transfer in Colton Hood that's had a nice start to his Tennessee tenure. But there's just so many question marks, so many more than usual for a Tennessee-Georgia matchup, again, because it's that SEC opener. We don't know how Gunnar Stockton's going to react on the road in a hostile environment. And the thing that's different about this matchup, it's the best Josh Heupel team to host Georgia at Neyland Stadium. The first time they hosted Georgia in the Heupel era was 2021, year 1, where the offense got Georgia on its heels a little bit early, and then Georgia just did what they do, and they grinded it out. It ended up being a lopsided result, 41-17 final, Tennessee scoring a garbage time touchdown. And then 2023, where Tennessee was on that 8-win path, just kind of finding out its limitations on offense and trying to get to 2024 in the Nico era. And Georgia came in and just thumped them at Neyland Stadium, that game we were talking about in the last segment. So that's why it feels like it's Tennessee's best shot at Georgia. But there has to be some level of concern until Tennessee proves that they can wreak havoc in the backfield and shake Gunnar Stockton in his first ever road start.
It's also Joey Aguilar's first SEC start. Now, the advantage is that he's at home, but it's also, Neyland is a highly pressurized environment, whether you're the opposing quarterback or the home quarterback. Of course, you have a great many advantages at your disposal in that situation if you're Joey Aguilar, but it's going to be interesting to see him against SEC competition for the first time. Syracuse is suspect right now. I don't think ETSU was going to give them any problems. Given the way that they handled their business last week at home as well. Did you see the quotes that Joey Aguilar's father was giving to Pete Nakos of On3 Sports?
I did. Thanking Nico Iamaleava for the situation that led to Joey Aguilar coming to Tennessee.
Quote, "We don't have any problems with Nico. If anything, it's thank you."
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And also went on in not so many words to say, it's clear who won the trade. So I don't think Dad is intentionally shading Nico Iamaleava. I think he's just very excited for his son.
I think they're just on cloud nine, man. Did you see all the shots of Joey Aguilar's grandmother in her 80s at the game at Neyland last week, crying tears
Mom,
of joy?
Grandma, all
whole
of it.
family is there. So, yeah, that's a change of pace to go from the dad of the quarterback that was constantly wanting more and constantly at the facility and at practice and a big part of the story to seeing Joey Aguilar surrounded by his family who are just happy to see their son balling at Tennessee while Nico struggles on the West Coast.
Chris Doring of the SEC Network joins us now. You can hear him and watch him on SiriusXM and the SEC Network as well. Buddy, it's great to have you a part of the show. We're all going to Neyland tomorrow. We're fired up about it. Should be a great game between the Bulldogs and the Vols.
Yeah, excited to start getting into the heart of the conference schedule. Got a little taste of it last week with Ole Miss and Kentucky playing, but some real battles right off the top. It's interesting because, as a Florida guy, I'm used to playing Tennessee early in the season. To see that game in November just doesn't quite feel right. It certainly doesn't feel right watching Georgia and Tennessee square off so early either. So big test, kind of trying to figure out who teams are at this point in the year.
Well, and we've been talking about this all week long, obviously, not just because Georgia didn't look to be its best against Austin Peay, but because of the opportunity that Tennessee has here at home with the 8-game losing streak that the program has at the hands of Georgia. And the Vols not without flaws or anything like that, Chris, but still it feels like it's Josh Heupel's best chance in his tenure so far to get one on Kirby Smart, if he is able to get one.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, I think part of it has to do with the evening out of the conference. We were talking this morning on our show. I don't think you have a real elite team in the SEC right now. And I think that has a lot to do with transfer portal and NIL stuff and distribution of talent around, and really the inability for places like Alabama and Georgia to stockpile talent the way that they used to. But I give Josh Heupel a lot of credit in terms of what he's done in turning that program back around over the last 4 years. Watching them get to the college football playoff last year was something that was really exciting for me because I did have a chance to be around for both the previous pro day and during some spring practice and knew that the program was on the climb. The difficult part is in this landscape now is sustaining success, and with all the turnover from year to year, it becomes very difficult. But I've been very, very pleased with what I've seen. I knew that Josh Heupel would find a way to run the ball, and they've done that, kind of with a trio of backs instead of one guy like Dylan Sampson doing it last year. And I knew that Tim Banks' defense would be good, but the Joey Aguilar thing, man, I think I heard you guys talking about Nico. I think we all, and this is probably the pettiness in us. I think we're all looking for Tennessee to be better at that position, to upgrade and find ourselves cheering against UCLA. But Joey Aguilar has really looked to me like he's got a great understanding of this offense, and it's been nice to see him hit some of those deep balls that we've seen the previous quarterbacks missing over the last couple of years.
Chris Doring of the SEC Network, ESPN, Sirius XM, here with us on 104.5 The Zone, at Chris Doring on Twitter, at CDoring28 on Instagram is where you can follow along.
And you can listen every single morning, Chris Doring and Peter Burns, SEC Network and Sirius XM. Word on the street is that Ron Slay was on with you guys this morning, getting ready for this matchup, Chris. We plan on seeing Slay at his tailgate tomorrow on campus, right outside of Neyland Stadium. What was your feeling going into this game, and did Slay change any of your opinion on how this game might take place at Neyland Stadium?
I love Slay. You know what? I work with such great people here at the SEC Network, and it's especially fun when the football guys get to cross over towards the end of the year with the basketball guys, and the friendship that I've developed with Slay is one of my favorites. So great to have him on. But this is not just a basketball guy. He knows football, and the depth of which he was going into his analysis was impressive. The one thing he kept saying is he made a couple analogies as it related to being a smaller kid and being in the back of the roller coaster, being a bigger kid and being in the front seat, and another one going through a haunted house. And I agree. Tennessee, to me, needs to be that team that can take on the biggest, most powerful team in the SEC over the last few years. The problem that I have with Tennessee is that they beat up on the teams that they're supposed to beat up on. But when they play against a Georgia or an Alabama or Florida, I know they've gotten a couple wins there recently, but the schedule against those teams over the last few years is just 4-8. And more times than not, it's the differential in physicality. Georgia put together the blueprint for how you attack this Josh Heupel offense a couple years ago. They were able to affect Hendon Hooker. And if you can affect Hendon Hooker, I think you can affect Joey Aguilar. So I expect to see the same sort of game plan, bringing pressure up the middle, being physical with the wide receivers. And until I can see the Tennessee offense deal with what I expect to be a very physical game plan from Georgia, I'm still picking the Bulldogs regardless of it being in Knoxville.
Yeah, and Georgia did the opposite of what you just mentioned that Tennessee has done, right? They didn't beat up on the lesser opponent last week. But, Chris, for me, as a Tennessee alumni, it almost gives me that pit in my stomach. I don't want to be facing Georgia after they hear all week long that they were sleepwalking against Austin Peay and it's not the same Georgia, because I know what Kirby Smart is. This is the guy that convinced a championship favorite that everybody thought they were going to go 6-6 a couple of years ago. So, but what do you make of Georgia and the question marks around them at this point in the season that we don't typically have early on in a Kirby Smart season at the Bulldogs?
That's a great point that you make. I think Georgia over the years doesn't necessarily beat up on the FCS opponents and some of the overmatched teams that they play on their schedule. But at the same time, it's troubling to think about getting stuffed in a goal line situation. I know they were down there. I think they had 8 plays and threw in 5 of them, but you still had 3 where you lined up and should be able to move an FCS defensive line off the ball. So I'm sure Kirby harped on that, but this does feel very similar to years past, because in the beginning of the seasons, we always hear Georgia fans complaining about Mike Bobo and the conservative nature of the offense. I am of the belief, why show what you don't have to? I think, bringing your team along offensively and saving some wrinkles for when you get into the SEC schedule is a great way to go about coaching your team. Now, I think part of what we've determined to be maybe a different program in general for Georgia dated back to last season, and that lasting memory of Notre Dame being the more physical team on the field in the Sugar Bowl. That never happened. So I think Georgia does look a little bit more gettable, particularly because we have questions about Gunnar Stockton and his ability to throw the football. But this will be a great litmus test for both of these programs. And you're right. I firmly believe that Tennessee will get the full focus of Georgia and maybe a little bit of that leftover ire from last week as well.
It's a fun week 3 across the board, not just Neyland Stadium, of course, this weekend, Chris. Florida at LSU is a fascinating game. I want, beyond the Billy Napier of it all with Florida, right? Because I'm sure the South Florida loss is disappointing. But the approach in the lack of physicality that I felt that they had against South Florida. You'll tell me if I'm incorrect about this, but I just think they have the horses up front and in the backfield there on offense, Chris, to run it down South Florida's throat, and it didn't feel like they took the opportunity to dominate that way. Is that a mischaracterization in your opinion?
You are right about where how the game played out. You are wrong about where to place the blame, because I thought early in the first couple drives, Jaden Ball was ripping off 7, 8, 9 yards a carry. I think he had 5 carries for 51 yards on the first possession. The second was much of the same, and Florida was moving the ball. But I think the one thing that I go back and look at as it relates to play calling in this game and in previous games is Florida feels the need to be the smartest guy in the room. I give so much respect to Joe Sloan and what they did against Clemson in week 2. LSU, when something was working, they went right back to it. Why not do it until somebody stops it? And I think a lot of times coaches fall in love with looking like they're smarter than everybody else and coming up with other, wrinkles and trick plays that they want to run. Jaden Baugh is one of the most powerful physical backs in all of college football. You also have a veteran, experienced line that's supposed to be the strength of your team. Run the football against an overmatched USF that doesn't have nearly the talent that you do. That was disappointing. And then when you get into a 4-minute situation, you didn't play well, but you still got the lead. You got a chance to close out USF. You get the ball with 2 minutes and 54 seconds left. You run an RPO and allow your quarterback to throw it. You run for a couple yards, and then you throw again on third down. You use 27 seconds before going 3 and out and kicking the ball back. Again, when you have a veteran offensive line and running backs like Jacoby Jackson and Jaden Baugh, it was very head-scratching to me. And I think this coaching staff needs to get back to just doing the basics and not necessarily trying to use every single thing that they have when it's not necessary.
At Death Valley is a tough enough place to play, and I don't think anybody would argue that LSU is not objectively better at this point in time. But what matchups do you think Florida is capable of exploiting there, if any?
I think Florida is going to do exactly what I just went on a rant about. I think they're going to line up and try to run the football. It's difficult when you're having to play from behind or in your predictable situations where you're throwing the ball on third and long. So I think it's important that they have success running early in the down sequences. The Blake Baker blitzes come from all over, and this year has been extremely aggressive in terms of some of his blitz calls. So I think Florida goes back to seeing if they can bully LSU, line up, run the football, and try to stay ahead of the chains and keep that LSU offense off the field as well. This will be a great test. Unfortunately, a lot of the luster was lost in this matchup because if Florida hadn't lost to USF, we're talking about a top 15 matchup with talent that I think is pretty similar right now. This is a dangerous position for LSU to be in because I think it's easy to look and say, oh, they lost to USF. They're not very good. If they're sleeping on Florida, I think Florida has a chance to come in there and get them. Now, with that being said, I picked LSU to win the SEC and national championships back at Media Days. I'm going to stick with that pick. I think this is a close game into the fourth quarter, but I think LSU finds a way to win it late.
Chris Doring, SEC Network, Sirius XM, here talking some SEC football with us on 104.5 The Zone.
Which road team, Chris, this week do you feel better about? Arkansas going to Ole Miss or Vanderbilt going to South Carolina?
I'm taking the Commodores outright.
Yeah.
Anybody that hasn't been watching Vandy doesn't know what they've done to improve the defensive side of the football. Everybody wants to talk about Diego Pavia, Eli Stowers, and the offense, and they deserve a lot of credit for what they did. But I was so impressed. I turned the tape on against Virginia Tech. The penetration up front, the gang tackling, the swarming, the aggressiveness, this defense is fun to watch. And for an offensive line that has kind of struggled in protecting South Carolina, Lenore Seller's been under a lot of pressure through 2 weeks. I really do believe that defensive front is going to be able to affect the outcome of the game. And I know this has been kind of a one-sided rivalry with South Carolina getting the best of Vandy lately. I believe that the Commodores go in there and win this game and make an announcement to the rest of the conference that they're a legitimate contender in the top half of the league.
Yeah, I saw Josh Pay put out the stat. Vanderbilt outgained Virginia Tech by 300 yards in the second half.
It's so crazy.
In Blacksburg. Different Vanderbilt team, it would seem, led by Clark Lee. You guys put out your SEC power rankings, you, Alyssa Lang, the whole crew over there at SEC Network. And, Chris, you look at it, and it just feels so wide open with LSU up there at the top, Texas with Arch Manning. You guys have at 5, Tennessee at 4, Oklahoma feeling like it's for real after that win over Michigan. How many teams at this point in the season, going into week 3, do you feel could feasibly go on a run to win the Southeastern Conference?
I think we go back to what we said a little bit earlier. There's so much parity in this league because the bottom to middle of the league has improved, and I think that the elite teams have come back to the pack as well. I mean, Alabama got a big win last week against Louisiana Monroe, but I can't get the visual out of my head of Florida State just taking it right to the Tide in week 1. So I think Stark said it a couple weeks ago, like the days of a national champion going undefeated are over with, particularly if you're playing in the Southeastern Conference. I'm of the belief that there's probably still 8 teams that might be able to find their way to Atlanta in the SEC championship, and that could be shortchanging a few right now. But this should be a week that we get a little bit more clarity on who's who. But I honestly believe from week to week, it's going to be much more like the NFL with the old any given Saturday kind of mantra.
Buddy, we appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, and looking forward to a great weekend of college football. Hope to catch up again soon.
Yeah, lots of fun being on with you guys. Thanks for having me.
That's our guy, Chris Doring, SEC Network. Sirius XM is where you can listen to him. I'm sure there's a podcast where you can go check out. In fact, Robert, if there is a podcast, would you drop that in the FNM Bank chat for people who can go listen to Slay's appearance?
Yeah. SEC this morning.
Peter Burns and Chris Doring. 615-737-1045 is the number. We'll keep it on the SEC. We've got an SEC stat of the day coming your way next.
Oh, very SEC heavy first hour of the show. We've got Coach Matt coming up in hour 2. We'll preview Titans and Rams, but it's a big weekend in the Southeastern Conference. The SEC stat of the day, Seth Emerson of The Athletic, who covers the Georgia Bulldogs and just greater college football storylines, had some very detailed numbers on just how much Tennessee has struggled offensively against Georgia versus other opponents in the Josh Heupel era. Tennessee, against any team not named Georgia, throughout the course of the Josh Heupel era, has averaged 40.2 points per game. Tennessee, in its 4 matchups against Georgia under Heupel, has averaged 14.25 points per game. Tennessee has never scored more than 20 points in a game against the Georgia Bulldogs. The Vols have averaged, against any team not named Georgia, 486.25 yards per game. Against Georgia, they have averaged just over 316 yards per game. So what's different, right? Like, that's the whole conversation. Why is this different? Home field. As I mentioned, this is the best Heupel team for a game at Neyland Stadium against the Georgia Bulldogs. But the reality is, if Tennessee cannot fix their downfield passing issues that they have not seemed to be able to fix against Georgia in recent matchups, they're not going to win this game. They're not going to grind their way. They're not going to win up front, just dominate for 4 quarters in that way. Tennessee's a good team up front. They are. Defensively, they are sound, but the defensive line has taken some hits with injuries. They're not just going to come in, push Georgia around, and win the time of possession battle. Not going to happen that way. Joey Aguilar's got to pop some big plays in the passing game. Tennessee didn't have a play downfield over 20 yards last year against Georgia in Athens. It just can't happen. It's that simple. So this is why you love these openers. We get to learn. Was what we saw against Syracuse and ETSU for real? Is that going to transfer over in a game like this the way that it didn't last year against Chattanooga and Kent State and the like?
That line's moved, by the way.
It's moved dramatically. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say dramatically. It was 3.5, and now it's 4.
Oh, it's back up to, okay, so I was thinking about it going from 8.5 to 3.5, but it's moved back up a little bit.
Yes. So it is.
Where
now,
are you seeing that?
DraftKings Sportsbook, BetMGM also has the same.
Okay.
Tennessee +4 at home. The over-under has also gone up. It's now 50.5. I think it was initially 46.5. Or at least when last we looked at it earlier in the week. So, I mean, the larger the spread gets between the two of them, the more inclined I am to take Tennessee at least to cover. But Vegas is rarely wrong about these things, and they seem to be very comfortable picking the dogs as a road favorite in this particular situation. Now, I mean, this is why you play the games, right? Just because you haven't beat Kirby Smart or haven't beat Georgia in your last 8 outings doesn't mean that you're never going to beat them. But there are some limitations here with Tennessee that are going to be tested, as Lucas pointed out, and then some underlying stuff that coming into the game, the way that Kirby Smart has found ways to stifle Josh Heupel's offense. It's almost like Mark Stoops' defense versus Lane Kiffin. Feels like a similar thing at a much higher level.
Yeah, except Georgia's been able to do that to almost everybody.
Sure. I just mean in terms of like the team that you know is going to get you no matter what. Georgia seems like Tennessee's kryptonite. In the Josh Heupel era. You would disagree, or is there another team that comes to mind?
Oh, no. It is absolutely the case. I mean, he's literally beaten everybody he has faced at least once. Any, annual opponent he has faced at least once. And Georgia is the outlier there. The higher scoring the game, it feels like the better suited the game is for Tennessee. If there are fireworks and Gunnar Stockton, if it's, I'm not going to say anything like that Alabama game in 2022. That was kind of another level, right, when you're getting into the 50s. But if it's even half of that, where this game has Georgia saying, okay, we're not going to get out of here with a win if we don't score 32 points. And that type of pressure is on Gunnar Stockton. Obviously, that plays into Tennessee's hands, right? If he's having to drop back 30 times in this game and the crowd's just on top of him. And if Tennessee can stop the run in this game. Georgia struggled to run the football throughout the course of last year. We haven't seen enough from their games against Marshall and Austin Peay to know if that's going to be dramatically improved this year. I tend to think Georgia is rarely, if ever, going to struggle in the same departments under Kirby Smart in back-to-back seasons. Wide receiver play was an issue for them last year. They went out and got themselves some wide receivers. It's not nearly as much of a talent issue as it was a year ago. I think they're going to be able to run the football against a relatively thin Tennessee defensive front. Vols are just going to have to put up points, man. Like Josh Heupel, it is great the way he has evolved as a head coach. the way that he was able to switch gears at times last year when quarterback play was kind of letting them down, they were able to win in other ways. That's not something that we thought was going to happen in the Heupel era. We thought they were either going to win games 40-35 or lose games in that fashion. But he was able to pull some tools out of his tool belt last year that we didn't know he had. But this kind of game, yes, those things are important, but you also got to flex the thing that made you a multimillionaire as the head coach at the University of Tennessee. Put up some points, get the downfield passing game going. Obviously, that means being complimentary in other phases. But put the pressure on Gunnar Stockton to have to feel like he has to take the ball down the field and score routinely in this game, and that their run game and defense isn't going to bail them out at Neyland Stadium.
I am fascinated to see what happens here because you've gone, and this was pointed out, there's a good preview there by Rex Road and Seth Emerson on The Athletic of the matchup itself. And what's pointed out on the three players to watch for Tennessee is that how many times that the Vols have faced a Georgia team with a more accomplished group of wide receivers than they are currently going into. Chris Brazzell is one of the players that they mentioned as a guy to watch here in this particular matchup because we know that Georgia always has defensive backs that are going to be able to disrupt your passing game. Not even with, I mean, they can get to the quarterback, of course, or historically they've been able to get to the quarterback, but you can disrupt the passing game by just jamming the receivers to the line of scrimmage and throwing the quarterback off that way as well. I love the idea of both of the quarterbacks being an unknown in this situation because I feel like that would at least lend itself to more variance. The idea that the Vols have never eclipsed 200 yards passing in a game against Georgia or in a game against Kirby Smart is insanity.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is one of those, when we talked to Josh Pate, maybe a month, maybe 2 months before the season started. I don't think it was his most recent visit in here. And he mentioned the idea of this in 2025 is going to have to be Josh Heupel's best coaching job ever if they're going to achieve beyond what baseline expectations are, somewhere between 7 and 8 wins. This is the kind of game he's talking about. This has to be and also, you know, I mean, it's not just the coaching, right? The execution has to be there too. And you're asking a lot of a bit of an unproven commodity in Joey Aguilar, but this is the moment. Welcome to the SEC. So Heupel has to be on his best version of his game. Aguilar obviously has to be on his best version of his game, and they're going to have to find ways to keep Joey Aguilar upright throughout the course of it.
I mean, he's taken a quarterback in Aguilar that threw 24 interceptions over the last 2 years combined and hasn't put the ball in harm's way once. Doesn't mean he's been perfect. He's made some misses, but I don't know if that Joey Aguilar has thrown an interceptable ball this season. Obviously, that's tested at a much higher level tomorrow. I will say, Georgia, Keely Ringo's not walking through that door, right? Guys like Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Carter up front. We'll see. I don't think Georgia has the absolute monster game records that they have in the last couple of years, but they are a more talented team up front than Tennessee. That is indisputable. So can the Vols hold their own there and hit some plays over the top? And that'll be the key. Quickly, how many times has South Carolina beaten Vanderbilt in a row? Do you know?
4.
16. It is tied for the longest win streak among a single opponent in the SEC.
Whoa.
So to flip it over to Columbia, Vanderbilt trying to end that streak.
That would be huge. 615-737-1045. Man, I hope it's a good football weekend. I hope Tennessee and Vanderbilt win. That would be awesome to be able to come in here on Monday and talk about a great college football weekend from both sides of things. I'm just generally excited about Vandy, and if the Vols give us, you know, a more pleasant season than expected, given where I think people were in the offseason with this team, then that would be just the cherry on top. 615-737-1045, like I mentioned. We will get into, John Reed is going to join us coming up next, get us hyped for this matchup between Tennessee and Georgia. Do we have things to give away for Friday Fire at 11:45 today?
More of those Bailey Zimmerman tickets that you were all clamoring for, but do not call right now. Or so help me God.
Yet. Not yet. At 11:45 today, you bring your moment of positivity. It's your Friday Fire, and the best one wins Bailey Zimmerman tickets. We didn't know who he was. Apparently all of you do. So we'll make that happen for you at 11:45. Coach Mack in between. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
11:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Packers held off the Commanders in a 27-18 win on Thursday Night Football. Multiple injuries from this game. Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed left with a broken collarbone. Commanders running back Austin Eckler is feared to have a torn Achilles. The Titans open the home slate Sunday against the Rams. Brian Callahan will meet with the media later today and update injuries. Right tackle J.C. Latham said in the locker room yesterday that he will be out for this game. He has a hip designation. Defensive lineman Tavondre Sweat did not practice again yesterday with an ankle injury. The League Company countdown to kickoff hits the air at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Titans countdown starts at 11 a.m. Central and kickoff at noon with Taylor Zarzer and Coach Dave McInness on Titans Radio. The Tennessee Vols host the Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow, a top 15 matchup at Neyland Stadium. The Vols also will be without their right tackle, David Sanders, in this one. Vol Network coverage begins at noon. Kickoff at 2:30 Central with Mike Keith and Ramon Foster on the Vol Network. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Oh, it makes me so happy, not just because it's a Friday, but because the Vols have a massive game tomorrow at Neyland Stadium hosting number 6, Georgia. All three of us are going to be in attendance, along with 102,000 plus of you. But even more so, what delights me is John Reed of Fox Sports Knoxville, Talks Sports, and the Reed's Ranch podcast is here with us. He is one of the original guests on the radio show, and I feel, Reed, that we must address the awkwardness right out of the gate. What falling out did you and Lucas have that he hasn't invited you back for literally 4 years?
He told me you were just too big time for me now. He said that you left me in the dust. Yeah, he blamed you.
Well, that sounds about right. No accountability from him whatsoever. No, I don't handle guest booking. I leave that to him. So if he hasn't asked you back, it's directly on him, Reed. I offer you, I open the floor to you to address your concerns with my venerable co-host here.
Me and Big Lou, we go back. You know, I can let bygones be bygones if he can. Now, I will say, Buck, I know that he's even big-time me there, Lucas, by saying he doesn't handle the bookings. I did notice that, just for the record.
Yeah, I said it was pretty sneaky.
Famously, I do not do anything on my own show.
and I will say that I feel like around this time, in 2022, I was on the show previewing Alabama. I extended my invitation to both Lucas and Buck to come to my tailgate. And Buck's like, oh, yeah. And then Buck, hi-hatted me and didn't show up. And then that's kind of when the relationship ended, Lucas. He didn't come to the tailgate.
Ooh.
I believe I saw you there last year.
I seem to remember being there, yeah.
Well,
yeah. Buck hasn't made it in, but I hear that you guys are coming again tomorrow, so I'll extend the invitation one more time.
A chance to right some wrongs.
Oh, that's big of you.
It's the last time I'll ever extend that invitation if I am not embracing you two by lunchtime.
I think that's a reasonable request by you. I am famously a flake, beyond being, pretentious and annoying and all the other things that people throw my way. But I'm delighted to see you, buddy, and I'm excited to be back in Knoxville tomorrow for a massive game. The last game I was there was 2022. To your point, it was Florida. With you guys outlasting Anthony Richardson in a late game rally that had, I think, Vols fans in the stands sweating a little bit. The world is different now than it was then, though the circumstances have obviously changed for the Vols. What is the dialogue around Vols fans in Knoxville this week on Fox Sports Knoxville?
It feels cautiously optimistic from a lot of people. Then you'll have your section of people that say, I'm not going to pick Tennessee to beat Kirby Smart until they see it. They'll talk about Josh Heupel's offense not being able to eclipse the 17-point mark against Kirby's defenses. But there's a lot of people that just know that this is the first time, and this is what I've been trying to beat over on my show into people's heads. This is the first time that Georgia and Kirby Smart have come into Neyland Stadium where it feels like Tennessee has a team worthy of being on the field with Georgia. I didn't think that was the case in 21. And then in 23, I didn't think Joe Milton and those guys were capable of playing with Georgia. But it does feel like in 2025, it's a little bit more even. And you could argue Tennessee maybe even has an advantage at certain positions like quarterback and going down the roster a little bit.
What is the matchup, John Reed with us of Fox Sports Knoxville on 104.5 The Zone, the matchup that you and maybe the general public are feeling most confident in? When you say the most worthy team Tennessee has had on the field at Neyland against Georgia, what aspect of this team do you think makes that so?
Well, my answer, Lucas, all week has been Gunnar Stockton versus Neyland Stadium. You know, it being his first road game. And then, you know, look, I think a lot of people have seen Tennessee lose big games in Neyland Stadium. I mean, it has happened. It's not like Tennessee, despite how good we claim this home field advantage is, it's not like Tennessee is undefeated at home. But I feel like to beat a top 15 caliber Tennessee team inside Neyland Stadium, the quarterback has to be electric. I said he has to have kind of that swag. I said he has to be an MFer. Like he has to be able to carry himself like a Baker Mayfield, like a guy that came in there and stared down Neyland Stadium in 2015. You know, even Bryce Young did it to an extent in 2022 despite losing. I mean, he was superhuman that day. Another number 1 overall pick and Heisman winner. I just don't think Gunnar Stockton has that ability. I don't think he's that talented of a college quarterback. I damn sure don't think he is a NFL, you know, first or second round pick. So I think how he handles Neyland Stadium, to me, that's the biggest talent advantage. That's the biggest advantage for Tennessee on paper.
I guess the question then there is Tennessee's ability to force Gunnar Stockton to have to be that guy for them to win, right? And then how much of that onus is on the offense to force Georgia to go toe for toe in an electric environment and not kind of do what they did last year, John, which was just smother, or really what they've done in the Kirby Smart versus Josh Heupel era, and just smother Tennessee for the most part.
Yeah, it's funny because Tennessee has actually, you know, scored touchdowns first in all 4 of those games with Josh Heupel versus Kirby Smart.
That is insane. I haven't even thought about that.
The whole cliche of like start early, like it hasn't really worked for Tennessee. Like I think, you know, Kirby Smart's dominated the second half of all these matchups. Like, you know, last year you went into that game tied 17-17, and then like you said, they just kind of choked you out. The hope for Tennessee, if you're picking Tennessee, is that the offensive line is better than in years past. Even with David Sanders being out, the offensive line, you bring in some transfers. Lance Hurd, the transfer from 2 years ago, is a 5-star talent, is a 5-star body. He's in better shape. He's playing better. You got grown men that you went and got from Notre Dame and Arizona. This local Jesse Perry kid, I mean, he's exceeding all of his star rankings. So, like, Tennessee actually has a solidified offensive line, so maybe you can hold up, not so much in the run game, because I think Tennessee's been able to run the ball against Georgia decently the last couple of times, but hold up in pass protection, because last year Nico was running for his life in that second half, and they really dominated that side of the ball.
John _Reed is where you follow him on Twitter. Again, the Reed's Ranch Podcast. You can also follow along at Reed's Ranch Pod or Fox Sports Knoxville, where you can hear him in the mornings on Talk Sports. So, feels like it feels like a house money game and a house money season, Reed. How much would that expectation change, though? And maybe if that's not your opinion of what this season is, seems to be a popular opinion about what 2025 could be for the Vols. But how much does that change if you are able to upset Georgia at home?
Well, Buck, I think you're right that most people have felt that way. It's frustrated me as someone who follows the program, who roots for the program, who talks about it all the time. But it was because of the disrespect just all offseason. Like, you know, I've said this. Tennessee got treated like Indiana and SMU this offseason. No offense. I know you're a Hoosier, but, like, they got treated like Indiana and SMU. Like, yeah, you made the playoffs last year. That's cute.
It's cute.
Back of the line.
No, I get that.
Back of the line. We're still going to rank you at number 24 in the preseason. We're not going to treat you like Clemson and LSU or, you know, Texas. I know LSU didn't make the playoff last year, but you get the point. Tennessee got ranked behind all these SEC programs who have not accomplished as much under their current regime, their current coaches, as Tennessee and Josh Heupel has. So I didn't really view it as necessarily house money, but I definitely don't view Saturday as house money. I think the teams are close enough. It's the last time we all assume that you're going to play Georgia annually. your losing streak would go to 9 games. If you mess around with that, it might be, 10 years before you get a chance to beat them again. You might be on a 20-something year drought by the time you get to play them. So I think there's big stakes there. But also, I think this is a game that has a chance to solidify both Josh Heupel and Tennessee's program. Like if Josh Heupel beats Kirby Smart, that's one of the 2 things he hasn't been able to do. He hasn't been able to beat a rival on the road, and he hasn't been able to beat Kirby Smart. You can knock that one off, and then all of a sudden Josh Heupel, who kind of gets ranked outside the top 10, top 15 of coaches, I think he solidifies himself as a top 6 type of tier 2 coach. And I think Tennessee gets treated more like a program that's won 30 games over the last 3 years versus over, getting treated like, oh, that's cute. You made the playoff last year. Yeah, your schedule was easy. Yeah, your quarterback left. Best of luck this year. Hope you can go 8-4. You beat Georgia, then all of a sudden you're in the driver's seat to get to Atlanta and try to host a playoff game or even get a first-round bye.
Reed, this
stakes are huge, Buck.
No, stakes are huge. It's phenomenal. I love the energy that this game is helping create because if Lucas is trying to push off his fandom for the sake of professionalism here lately, but I know what he is at his core. Okay, I know that this is killing him inside to see you offering actual standards for the program as opposed to just shrugging his shoulders and saying, oh, whatever we get out of this season is fine. I'm just along for the ride.
Well, that's how I protect myself, John. That if this is a loss to Georgia, then the season's more in line with what the general expectations were going in. But we all know when you walk through the portal that is the gates of Neyland Stadium, that mindset changes.
If you never put your heart on the line, Lucas, it can't be broken. I get it. I understand.
Coward.
But some would say that heart's never used if you're not willing to put it on the line. So I'm going to use my heart. I'm going to put myself out on the line. And I will say, just to be fair, I might be coming across as a homer. I haven't felt that way about Tennessee against Georgia really many of the last 8 years. I thought maybe in 24 you had a chance, and I thought Tennessee came out and showed pretty well. I thought in 22 maybe you had a chance, but hey, it was raining, and that was a really, really talented team. But none of these other matchups, you've really even had a puncher's chance. So, usually I feel like, hey, Georgia's going to steamroll Tennessee. I don't feel that way this year.
Reed, this is probably the first time that you've been on the show since Robert Walsh has been a full-time part of the show. Robert, you are our resident professional wrestling fan. Who's the best in professional wrestling at cutting promos? Because I promise you John Reed is better than them.
Oh, like currently? The best
just generally. Who's your favorite?
Jake the Snake Roberts, Roddy Piper. I think an underrated guy that's going right now is The Miz. But, yeah, any of those guys.
Reed, if I put you in that category with those names that he just mentioned, do you think that you can hold up that way?
How old is Robbie?
I'm 32.
Jake the Snake Roberts and Roddy Piper. I mean, I appreciate your love for the golden age, but I was not expected to hear those names coming out of your voice because I'd seen pictures of you. I didn't think you were an old timer. I feel like I'm more of a Kevin Owens type of guy, Stone Cold mixed with a little Bray Wyatt. Those are the guys that I draw my inspiration from.
Okay, that ain't nothing wrong with that. Hell, he asked me who the best doing it or has ever done it was. And if anybody that says Roddy Piper wasn't the best promo cutter in the history of the professional wrestling, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I don't want to put you on the spot. Are you prepared to cut a promo on the show?
You have some nerve, Buck. You have some nerve. You ain't talked to me in 3 years. You didn't come to the tailgate.
That's not true.
I mean, it's essential. I'm talking about on the radio. I haven't been on the radio with you in 3 years.
Oh, texts don't matter, I suppose.
I think he's cutting a promo on you is what's happening.
Yeah. Then you come here and you ask me to delight, to give your show and delight your audience.
That's right.
A promo.
He said dance, clown.
Yeah, hold on.
Are you not familiar with my work in this department? Nobody is better at doing that, what you just described, than me. I promise you.
If you come to the tailgate tomorrow, I'll give you one in person.
Okay.
There it is.
I'll take it. We'll make that happen. He's John Reed. John _Reed, not just one. Make sure you put some respect on the man's name. It's good to have you back, buddy. We appreciate you making some time.
Love you, John.
Hey, I love you too, Robbie. I love all three of you. The invite is there for you as well. The invite is there for you as well tomorrow.
No, don't worry. He'll find your tailgate.
Oh, we'll see you tomorrow.
That's John Reed with us on 104.5 The Zone. I miss Reed. Why don't you invite him back more?
Accountability, not a strength, is it?
I literally don't book guests anymore.
I'm going to drag you. That's just not true. I'm going to drag you to this tailgate tomorrow.
Eventually,
we're going to this tailgate.
Who's going to drag me where? We're all going to be together. The two of you are stuck to me because I'm driving.
Eventually, people are going to wonder what it is you do here.
I don't do anything.
You don't do remotes. You don't book guests. You don't like what is it? What is it you say you do here?
I show up. And even then, I don't do that particularly well.
Let's ask Coach Mack.
Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio. He'll coach us up coming up next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. It's a fun football Friday. Friday also means that Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio is kind enough to grace us with his presence. His presence presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Where Lucas, don't believe you've informed people today, but I know you've been telling people all week that we will be collectively as a station out at Two Rivers Ford on Monday, reacting to South Carolina Vandy, Tennessee and Georgia, Titans and Rams. It will be a fun show out in Mount Juliet. 76 Belinda Parkway is where they are located. If you want to stop by, say hi, and check out all of their new or certified pre-owned inventory.
And donate some food for the Fill a Ford Food Drive. We're asking for your help. We're collecting non-perishable food items benefiting Second Harvest Food Bank and the Mount Juliet Help Center. So looking forward to a reaction Monday out there on Monday.
Happy Friday, Mac.
Hey, Buck. Yeah, I hope you get a lot of people coming through out there at Two Rivers on Monday. That's a very good cause. I want you three to keep the Two Rivers Ford between the ditches going from here to Knoxville.
Well, the only reason that we will, Mac, is because I'm driving. These two you've never been in a more infuriating car ride than trying to get somewhere with Robert or Lucas driving. It's the worst.
I don't see it.
Well, whatever it takes to get there and back in one piece, that's what you need to do.
Point A to point B.
That's the goal. We're going to have a great time. Mac, I know that you and Coach Doug Matthews are doing Coach to Coach again, of course, this season, where you talk about the SEC and the world of football from your guys' perspective. If I could start with that game between Tennessee and Georgia before we move on to talk about the Rams here in Nashville playing the Titans in their home opener at Nissan. It's just such a fascinating game, Mac, and Tennessee being down their two starting corners obviously would be cause for concern, but this Josh Heupel team right now, at least in the early going, looks like it's going to give Kirby Smart a fight.
Yeah, I mean, I expect it to be more. I expect it to be more than a fight. The thing that's going to be very, very interesting is to see how it plays out across the line of scrimmage on both sides. I mean, that to me is of course in any SEC game that's a huge part of it. But especially in this one, I don't know exactly how many of their front line guys across that defensive front, Rodney Gardner's going to have, because he plays about 12 or 13 of them a game. That's going to be something very critical to watch. And then it's going to be very, very important to see how the offensive line of the Vols holds up against that defensive front of what's going on down there in Georgia, because the Vols run the football much better than people even think they do. And so that's going to be very important. How much two tights are we going to get out of Josh Heupel's offense? I think you're going to see, I believe, again, I have no idea. I don't go to their practices, but I would think you're probably going to see a pretty good dose of 12 personnel against them too.
Coach Dave McInness with us, Coach to Coach, on the air tonight at 11 with Coach Mack and Coach Doug Matthews. Looking forward to listening to that on my drive home from a high school football broadcast. Coach, speaking of defensive fronts, the Titans are facing another one of the league's best on Sunday in the Rams. Different challenge, right, in terms of how the defenses are deployed to go from a Vance Joseph-led unit to now Chris Shula of the Rams. What are some of the differences there, and what Chris Shula might throw from different angles versus what the Titans saw last week?
You're going to see something very similar to the fact that, look, this league, everybody gets the same film, right? I mean, and they're going to see what gave the Titans problems last week, and it was basically, they're going to load up on first and second down to try to put them in third and double digit, because third and double digit was a problem for this offense last week. And they had very, very little success against that. And when they were doing that, they were putting those, all up on the line of scrimmage, playing sticks back there in the back with the coverage and just tsunami rushing it, forcing one-on-ones completely across the board. And so I look for them. I look for them to load up. Now, they'll load up a little bit different than from what, early on that Denver tried to do, because the Titans were able to run the ball on Denver early on first and second down. To me, the whole key for this Titans offense this week has got to be first and second down success, because you cannot live with third and double digit in this league. You just can't. And especially this first month, the rush people that they're going to see across the board you just can't put your offensive line and your young quarterback in that situation. So I expect young Sheila to do the same thing, but they're going to try to force the third and double digit stuff by loading it up on first and second down.
Well, and on the flip side, Coach, not facing a young quarterback, Matthew Stafford, 37 years old, still sharp, leading that Rams offense. Obviously not going to be as much of a scrambler as Bo Nix. How important is it going to be for the Titans to generate as much pressure as possible from the interior with Jeffrey Simmons and potentially Devondre Sweat if he can go?
Well, you got to collapse the inside of this. Look, Stafford to me is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league still, even as you mentioned, at 37 years old. He just gets it. And also, I mean, he was the catalyst. That defense was pretty well built when Sean McVay took it over. Now, they've added to it. They've done a nice job of drafting there. But he was the catalyst. That swap, with he and Goff between the Lions and the Rams, that's what put this offense over the top, for Sean McVay. And look, Stafford has still got the elite arm talent that he had coming out of Highland Park there in Dallas, Texas. He's elite with arm talent, but also he's a very, very cerebral quarterback. He's really smart. And so you can't afford to be wrong against him. He's one of those guys that if you're wrong, he makes you pay for it, almost immediately. And you're right. It's not the mobile quarterback you're looking at here, but it's the guy that can dissect. And what they've helped him a lot this year early on when you just start drilling through, the tape from this year by putting Puka Nacua in the slot, doing a lot of things, motion-wise, moving him around quite a bit. And plus, look, don't get it twisted. Sean McVay loves to run the football.
Yeah.
He loves to run the football to set this stuff up. So it's a challenge, but this quarterback is the kind of quarterback that you want.
Well, it's such a great test for a lot of the young players on this Titans defense in particular, Mac. Coach Dave McInness, presented by Two Rivers Ford, Titans Radio on the air. 11 a.m. is when Titans Countdown gets started. Noon, the kickoff for the home opener at Nissan Stadium. Eye discipline important no matter who the opponent is or what part of the field you're in. But to your point about the way that McVay will give them some eye candy on the front end, will use a lot of this misdirection, a lot of this motion, pre-snap and things like that, show you something different post-snap. Cedric Gray in particular, Mac, is going to be an interesting figure to watch in the middle of all this because they're going to try and find ways to take advantage of some of the young players on this defense if they can.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, and that's what you do in the National Football League. I mean, it's the yin and the yang of the chess match, between the offense and the defense when you watch it, and because you really you pick out personnel is what you do when you're game planning. I mean, I've game planned for over 3 decades, and the first thing you do is you start looking at personnel matchup, and you don't really look at the strength of what you're going against. You look at who's got a little bit of a soft spot that we might exploit this way.
Mac, with and I know no official designation has been given from the team, but J.C. Latham in the locker room with us yesterday said that he wasn't planning on playing on Sunday, dealing with this hip strain situation, which if that ends up being the case, which right now is the expectation, that would be Oli Udoh, who filled in for him in Denver. I know that they can't help both tackles on every snap and that there's going to be a lot of games played by the Rams up front, but how important is it to make sure that they do have that additional help, whether it be tight ends, running backs, wide receivers into chip, to make sure that they can keep that rush off Cam Ward's back?
Well, I mean, the rush is important, but I mean, anytime you start chipping and doing those types of things, because you still only get 11 to play with, right? You're taking somebody out of that pattern, and so I mean, it's got to be a back and forth. And look, sooner or later in this league, Buck, if you're a player, you got to be able to win your one-on-one matchups. I mean, and that's just and injuries are just a very real daily part of the National Football League, and so it's not anything you wring your hands about, but at the same time, if you start overcompensating on one edge, you're going to get something up on the other. So the key is, again, I keep going back to this, you got to break it down to the fundamental part of success on first and second down. It's managing the sticks that helps all of that stuff to begin with.
Coach Dave McInness of Titans Radio with us on 104.5 The Zone.
Coach, we haven't gotten a chance to talk to you since Cam Ward's debut Sunday in Denver. Obviously, the Titans looking to take more advantage of some of the good things and see that impact felt more on the scoreboard. But what did you like about the poise the rookie showed in Denver as he gets ready for his first home game at Nissan Stadium?
Well, just that, the poise. He learned some really valuable lessons. First of all, there's no way to simulate the speed of the game. And he found out, at warp speed what that was. The other thing is when you are in those types of situations and they start to tsunami rush you, you have no chance of escaping out the back of that wave. None. You just can't do it in this league. I've called a lot of defenses in this league against quarterbacks. I've only had 2 in the 31 years I was doing it that could escape out the back of a major rush and still be able to circle the defense. As Michael Vick and Randall Cunningham. Nobody else I've ever, coached against could do that. And you can't do it. There's too much speed in the National Football League. If you are playing defense in the National Football League on a starting unit, you can run. And most of them can run faster than the quarterbacks. And plus, there's more of them than there is a quarterback. And they eat the angles up too quick. So that's the first thing he learned. Escaping out the back of the middle of that wave never, ever works, in this league. The next thing is, he was throwing – the guy throws dimes. He really does. He's got to get – and the receivers have to help him. You just got to – once you know people are going to blitz you that much, you've got to hit a couple of big ones to back them off. And that's what they did not do. They got the only big one they really hit coming out of it in that ball game was the broken play that he dumped it off to the back that was able to on a catch and run when he avoided a huge rush, but he navigated the middle of the pocket on that one. So I would just say they need to connect. If people are going to do that to you, which they're going to do because they saw success on the film, you got to hit some deep ones early.
Road trips are fun, Mac, but I love a home game, and it'll be fun to be back at Nissan Stadium with you and the crew, and I'll see you in the booth on Sunday, buddy.
All right, Buck. You guys be careful going to Knoxville. See you.
Hey, Coach.
We sure will. I can't speak for Robert, but, I can't speak for Lucas either. Lucas, I think, is the bigger wild card of the three of us.
Oh, please.
In Knoxville?
We'll be all right.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Be up and at 'em Sunday morning, baby. Home opener.
Yeah.
Gonna feel like $1 million. We're gonna be well rested too. That's the thing. Like we're gonna get to sleep in the car as you drive us back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
We're gonna be
My car's very comfortable to sleep in.
And we're driving back after the game, so we're gonna be very well rested on Sunday and ready to roll for Titans versus Rams.
I love Lucas covering his tracks like someone trying to hide in the woods. Yes, it'll be. We'll also be extremely hydrated.
Just throwing pine straw over.
They'll never know we were here.
Just making bleep
that's
up.
like walking into Knoxville is like walking into a portal for me. And then, you become a different human. And then, as soon as you leave, you're right back to your day to day. So it's all good.
I would say it is also like a portal for me because I was very jarred after my first Neyland Stadium game coming back to Nissan and covering Titans Raiders in front of like 40,000 people. I was like, oh.
Well, wait for your first mind eraser at Cool Beans.
What is a mind eraser?
Yeah, you won't remember.
Okay, I can't have a mind eraser. I'm driving.
Yeah, that's after this is before the game. We're getting there early. Mind erasers.
What time are we getting to? So if we leave, if the two of you are actually ready at 6 a.m. when I am at Lucas's door,
I'll be ready to roll.
So we'll get to Knoxville at what, 10? We lose an hour?
I'll stay at Lucas's tonight.
I plan to. You're welcome to.
Been looking for an excuse to do that for years.
Well, Cheyenne would be even more mad at me.
Yeah.
Because
how's that going?
Poor
Because
Cheyenne.
you told us that you told.
I bet he didn't even break it to her.
Should we hash this out on air? She doesn't listen to the show.
You haven't told her yet, have you? Then
No.
we don't have enough tickets.
Put the Burt box on YouTube so people can see.
no, it's okay.
So people can see.
They don't need to.
You.
I love you, baby. Ooh, I love that girl. Now, don't get me
future
started
wife.
about how much I love that girl, especially when she at home.
I do think, by the way, that Nissan Stadium is going to be a good crowd.
Oh, my
on
God,
Sunday.
I hope so.
No, it is. People are. That preseason game was. When's the last time you saw that many people at Nissan for a preseason game?
No, honestly, I hadn't seen that many people at Nissan for a game since, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't even say the Packers game because there were so many Packers fans in the stands. So Jets, was that week 2?
Yeah, I think early last year. But
Yeah, so week 2, and then after that, it was a nightmare.
people are ready to see Cameron Ward. Don't think Rams fans necessarily travel well. They have a hard time filling up their own stadium.
Don't have to worry about that this week.
Although, ironically, there's probably more Rams fans closer to Nashville than L.A. with all
because
those folks
of
in St. Louis. Yeah. Although I wonder how many of those folks just, totally.
I think they're more pissed at the city of St. Louis than they are at the Rams.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
Because
still,
St. Louis sucks.
Dude, it is. St. Louis is
Sucks.
awful. One time Cheyenne was like, hey, I can get a hotel room for like 60 cents. Do you want to go to St. Louis? We went up there. Best part's the zoo. After you see the free zoo.
the arch, nothing going for you.
No. Not
Man.
going up in that death trap.
I've done the arch. The arch is cool if you've never done it, but like after that.
Remember when
To the surprise of no one, that Buck has done the arch.
I went up there once, 8th grade. I went
What
up there.
innuendo am I not getting?
Huh? What do you mean? I wasn't making any innuendo that you would arch your back in the similar way that St. Louis arch is done.
Ugh.
What?
Remember when we were having the discussion of my Italian cousin Antonio coming over, and we put it to a poll.
Yeah, we took him to a beer
What's the
festival in some kind of like storage unit.
But it was the most. That was a great time. What was the most difficult? What's the most difficult thing for the European mind to comprehend in Nashville? Was
Hot
the question
chicken.
we asked people.
Oh.
And I realized it because when we were going downtown and we drove past Nissan Stadium and we're telling him the story about how the Oilers came to be the Tennessee Titans, go from Houston to Nashville.
Did you really?
The look on his face when he realized that a team can up and move from one city to another, he couldn't even begin to wrap his head around
yeah,
that.
can you
He's like, no.
imagine?
The way he was like, no, that's not right. That's not okay. He couldn't even begin to understand how that could happen.
I mean, when the Cardinals are good, like St. Louis is a fun sports town, but that's it, man. There's nothing there.
You just had to explain it to him like the Parthenon. Like they moved the Parthenon.
That's right.
From
Why the hell
all
we
the way
have a
over
It's
there.
the original Parthenon.
Right.
Yeah.
They moved it from all the way over there to here.
Titans Rams have not played each other very often.
I mean,
They've
I
played
guess
5 times since that Super Bowl. It's
thought
not
it was
a long series.
More recently than 2021, when you brought it up the other day, the Adrian Peterson Titans Legend game.
Well, the all-time series is Rams 8, Titans 6, and that's the franchises. That's including Oilers history. That's including postseason and regular season. Yeah. 8-6, Rams lead the all-time series.
615-737-1045 is the number.
Oh, no.
Well, that's on Tuesday.
Cheyenne was listening.
No, she wasn't.
She said, surprise, I'm listening, LMAO.
Oh,
No way! Oh, we love you, Cheyenne. We love you so much.
Hey, baby.
That's incredible.
that has to be the one time in the history of the show that she's actually had the show on.
Hey, baby.
Oh, my goodness.
You got to make a call during a break.
I'll be right back.
Wait, what do we have to give away?
We have, what's
Bailey
that guy's
Zimmerman
name?
tickets.
Yeah, him. Bailey Zimmerman. We have
I'll give you those, baby, please.
615-737-1045. What's your most positive moment in sports this week?
Friday Fires next. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, is here for you, just like they've been here for you for over 4 decades. They are committed to quality customer service. In fact, they win awards. Their customer service is so good. And beyond just the quality American-made Ford vehicles that they have on offer, you will feel no pressure on you throughout the course of the car buying experience because they are the car dealer. What I mean by that is most people think of a car dealership as a place that tries to pressure you or upsell you, but that's not what happens at Two Rivers. At Two Rivers Ford, their sales staff is non-commissioned. So they get paid to help you, not to sell you. So there's literally zero pressure. And Two Rivers Ford sells most of their vehicles at invoice, so the prices are always the best around. Doing business with Two Rivers Ford is literally like doing business with family. I know that because I'm a Two Rivers Ford customer for almost 10 years. So if you're in the market for a vehicle, go to the Uncar Dealer car dealer. That's Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. For the opportunity to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Bailey Zimmerman concert. 615-737-1045. Call in. Give us your Friday fire, your moment of positivity. I could be cliche and take the obvious, which is that the three of us are going to Knoxville tomorrow. We're going to be in attendance for the Vols hosting the Georgia Bulldogs. Will be a great time had by all. But I'm going to take a different one off the board if you guys will let me lead off here. Are you familiar with Isaiah Nayor?
Wide receiver.
He is a wide receiver.
He was a transfer from Wyoming. He committed to Tennessee. It was one of the first portal flips that I can remember because he committed to Tennessee, flipped to Texas, and now is at Nebraska, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he was at Nebraska, but he was currently on the Green Bay Packers bench.
Oh, okay. Okay. He's in the NFL now.
So you did not see his cameo on Thursday Night Football. Robert, do you know what I'm talking about?
Is this the dude that was wearing the big-ass chain?
That was him?
Like a dinner plate?
Is the biggest piece of jewelry, single piece of jewelry I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's a UDFA.
That's correct. My Friday Fire is a 24-year-old undrafted rookie free agent with a diamond necklace the size of a dinner plate strapped around his neck. Now, they're not training the camera on Isaiah Nayor last night on Thursday Night Football. By the way, we didn't talk about it, but the Packers won. Washington wasn't really ever in it. The defense was suffocating for Green Bay. Turns out Micah Parsons really helpful.
I mean, it's the size of like Flava Flav's.
Oh, yeah. It's like
clock,
like the clock
necklace. Yeah.
It's the biggest piece of individual bling I've ever seen in my life. So I love the idea of a 24-year-old undrafted rookie free agent with the biggest piece of jewelry you've ever seen while he's sitting on the bench.
He's on the practice squad.
He's not in uniform in this shot. He's just got the biggest piece of jewelry you've ever seen.
He didn't make the initial. They released him and then signed him to the practice squad. That's incredible.
It made me laugh so hard last night. I didn't see it when the broadcast got it in real time. I just saw the screenshots on Twitter after the fact, and I said, who is this man? I'm immediately a fan of him.
Spending all his money.
All of that necklace is a game check for him.
Oh, to be fair, he probably made plenty of NIL money at Texas and Nebraska, but man.
Still.
That's insane. My Friday Fire is this Missouri fan. I don't know if you caught wind of this. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's spelled A-R-E-Y, so Ari. Eli Hoff of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch did some digging on this. And Dawn could talk about this because she was on the sidelines for the border war between Missouri and Kansas, a revival of an old Big 12, Big 8 rivalry, and so on. Before the game, this Missouri fan, he won a contest on Instagram by one of the game's sponsors. It was a giveaway. He would have a chance during a timeout during the game to kick a field goal. If he made the field goal, he would win $25,000. This Missouri fan got up there. There's an official there with a headset that's holding the ball. He's ready to kick it. He turns to the crowd, pulls up his shirt that says FKU, just the letters FKU,
yes.
And then turns and kicks the ball towards the Kansas bench. Doesn't even attempt the field goal. Totally punted on the chance to win $25,000. Just spitefully kicked it in the general direction of the Kansas bench. Now, he was interviewed. It was a 45-yard field goal. And he told the St. Louis Post-Dispatch that as soon as they told him that, he said, oh, my God, no chance. I came back and told my wife, I'm going to kick it directly at the Kansas bench. That's my Friday Fire.
It's incredible.
The video is hilarious.
He didn't get in trouble for that, right? Like, nobody got mad about it or was like...
I feel like that's something he probably should get in trouble for.
Why?
Nobody was on the bench.
Yeah,
like,
the ball like skipped 10 times.
Oh,
there's like
it's halftime.
I guess it was halftime. Yeah, there's like a few official
okay, so there's nobody
staffers,
on the bench. I thought he was kicking it at people.
Plus the velocity at which he kicked it was there was no danger of anybody.
Accurate. Yeah, I'm sure it was just kind of
it barely skipped.
It was symbolic.
It rolled into the bench like it didn't. So yes,
it was ceremonial.
That's my Friday Fire.
Robert,
are you guys familiar with the Powerball? Have you guys seen how high it is?
It's like 1.2 billion or something.
It was at $2 billion.
Oh,
so
it
is over $2 billion. It is so high that my dad calls me every day to let me know, hey, I got my tickets. You got your tickets.
He loves you.
Yeah, he throws that in there haphazardly.
Say it.
Lucas started doing that with his microphone off, and you can hear him through mine.
Yeah. Well, in Alabama, Susie says that if she wins the Powerball, she's got a special thing she would like to do with the money.
I'll tell you exactly what I'd do with the first $70 million. I'd pay off Kalen DeBoer and get him the heck out of the University of Alabama, and then I'd take whatever else it took to get rid of the AD. I'd give my church money. I don't know how much of what I'd have, after I paid my taxes, but I'm sure I'd have plenty with this kind of deal, but I know I'm not going to win. I just hope I win some scratch-offs. I just do it for the fun.
I love this one.
That was clinical.
I hope that Cheyenne turns into that woman. I hope that when Cheyenne is 60, she's like, I know I ain't going to win. I just like playing the
She's
scratch
apparently
off.
listening to you, so you can manifest this.
Who would Cheyenne want to buy out of their job?
Me. Make me stay at home and do all of the things, all of the
domesticate
honeydews.
him finally?
Yes, she's like, stop going to that fake job you have and stay here. Give me a baby and make a fence. Like,
Make a fence.
Can you build a swing set, a jungle gym? Do something, damn it!
Some loser on YouTube says that clip is a week old. Yeah, we know.
It's
okay.
6 days old.
It's okay.
It's 6 days.
You're gonna be all right.
It's not a week old. No, he's wrong. You're wrong, sir. That's not a week. Wrong. It's 6 days ago, buddy.
Oh, wow. Just to add to my Friday Fire, I can't believe I missed this part of the story. This Mizzou fan played for the Missouri basketball or wheelchair basketball team because he has a right prosthetic leg.
Oh.
And he still turned and kicked it towards the
I feel like that's an important part of
That's
the
an incredibly
story.
important part of the story. How is that not like the headline of the story? Thank you to the F&M Bank chat for Tyler bringing that up. I had no idea.
It's kind of beat. They asked the dude with a prosthetic leg to kick a field goal.
He won the contest. What a legend.
So they didn't just pick him randomly out of the crowd like a Braves game where it's like, hey, we're going to play a 7-inning stretch game with you.
Instagram contest. What a legendary college football fan. That's incredible.
615-737-1045 for the opportunity to win Bailey Zimmerman tickets. Let's start with Gabe.
What's going on, man?
What you got?
First, I want to say it's been a heavy few days in America, so thank you guys for giving us something to think about and listen to other than all the craziness. But my fire, it's not something you guys usually talk about. I'm a big Kansas State fan, and they're playing tonight against Arizona. They finally have some health, and do you think they can turn the season around? I personally, my fire is that they're going to turn it around and win the Big 12 this year.
There you go.
All right.
Well done, Gabe.
Kansas State off to a 1-2 start. Lost to Army last week.
Big turnaround.
Barely beat North Dakota. Not North Dakota State.
Yeah, North Dakota.
North Dakota in week 2.
That
So,
would
yes.
be a legitimate turnaround to turn around and win the Big 12. But that's fine. Manifest it, baby. Wide open. Cole is in Springfield.
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Good.
My Friday Fire would be, man, it's sunny out, and God bless me to wake up today, so I'm doing all right.
Okay.
All right. That's good. Nice and positive.
It feels like a low bar.
Yeah, what else we got? It is 83 degrees and sunny. Fake fall might be over. High of 87 on Sunday. And then it's going to be consistently high in the late 80s the rest of next week.
All right, Denise and Franklin. Let's see if we can't put this over the top. What you got, Denise?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. You guys had some pretty good ones today. And I'm a Mizzou alum and a Green Bay fan. So both of those are really good today. But I'll have to go with Tucker Kraft in the game last night against Washington. Coming into Tennessee from South Dakota, it's a huge win to see that guy be so successful in the Packers organization.
Thank you for the call. Remember to stay on hold for the chance to win those tickets. He was a monster last night.
Go Jacks, Denise. South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits representing tight end U. Dallas Goedert, Tucker Kraft. They just keep churning them out.
He had 6 catches for 124 yards and a touchdown last night. He had a critical block to spring. I can't remember who it was that had one of the more explosive runs in the game. I assume it was former Alabama running back
Josh Jacobs.
But yeah, he had a big game last night. He's a stud. I thought he got hurt there for a second, but he ended up being all right. All right, let's try Kevin in Nashville.
Hey, guys, love the show. I'm just going to say that my Friday Fire is Neyland Stadium tomorrow. It is going to be loud as loud can be, baby. Go Vols.
All right, well done, Kevin. Yeah. All right. We're just leaning full in today. Thanks for the call, Kevin.
It's a good way to set up Matt Murphy.
Oh, Matt Murphy of WTN is going to come in here. He's probably going to bark at us. We'll let Robert pick the winner during the commercial break. Matt Murphy will join us to preview this game coming up next.
It is 12:04. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans and Rams on Sunday. It's the home opener at Nissan Stadium. Brian Callahan will update injuries momentarily, but right tackle J.C. Latham said in the locker room yesterday that he will be out for this game with a hip injury. Devondre Sweat also did not practice yesterday with an ankle designation. Lee Company countdown to kickoff hits the air at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Titans countdown starts at 11. Kickoff at noon with Taylor Zarzer and Coach Dave McInness on Titans Radio. The Tennessee Vols host the Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow, a top 15 matchup at Neyland Stadium. Tennessee also without their right tackle, David Sanders Jr. reportedly out for this one. Vol Network coverage starts at noon. Kickoff at 2:30 with Mike Keith and Ramon Foster on the Vol Network. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Final hour is upon us, and we have been talking about this Tennessee-Georgia game all day long. Now, when Tennessee plays Georgia, we have to get the resident Bulldog. I don't mean former Titan center Ben Jones. I mean Matt Murphy of the Matt Murphy Show, weekdays 3 to 7, just down the hall from us on WTN Super Talk 99.7. Buddy, it's good to see you.
Good to be here. Wait, where am I? Which one? Oh, I'm on the right.
I'm sorry.
Good to be here. And by the way,
do you not turn on your own microphone?
I do turn on, but I didn't know. I got two. I'm not used to being in a fancy studio like this. We've got the Step Brothers studio across the hall.
It looks great on YouTube, school. I will say. Y'all have dressed it up quite nicely.
Oh, yeah, we have polished that turd quite nicely. Thank you very much.
Well,
but Ben Jones, damn good dog. Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Jones every Monday on the show. How are you feeling? This is the Vols fans are chesty again. Last time they were, you smacked them. Last time we had you on the show, you were expressing at least some level of, or at least downplaying your level of confidence.
Little BDS?
Then you smacked them.
I am a child of Larry Munson. And I think I said this the last year.
Because no idea who that is.
I mean, Larry Munson was the longtime voice of the Georgia Bulldogs. And if you pull up anything from the 1980s, he was the hobnail boot guy. You might remember that when Georgia beat Tennessee back in whenever that was. So Larry Munson was the consummate pessimist, right? He's announcing games. He's the radio play-by-play guy, and he's like, "Oh, we're up by 2 touchdowns, but there's still 2 minutes to go." So I was just born of that. So I'm constantly a worrier. I also lived through the Mark Richt era, where there was not a game that Mark Richt could not lose. And I understand that Kirby is not that guy, and Kirby prepares his teams better. But yeah, I'm nervous about the offense. I'm nervous about the offensive line. I don't know, and I think it's where this game is in the schedule, right? Last year, we kind of knew. We knew what Tennessee was. We knew what Georgia was. We don't know. I don't think we have any idea what either of these teams are. We're going to find out tomorrow.
Very strange. Very strange. What is the general confidence level around Gunnar Stockton with the fan base right now? From the days that he was recruited, he was a blue-chip prospect coming out, from how he handled himself in the playoff to now.
So the Georgia fan base wants Gunnar Stockton to act like the guy that he acts like when he runs the football, when he passes the football. And he's not doing that. I was so frustrated watching the checkdowns during Austin Peay. It was just infuriating. And your immediate thought, the average fan goes, Mike Bobo sucks again. He's our offensive coordinator. We hate him because, for those that don't know, Georgia fans are very, very split on Mike Bobo. But it's not Mike Bobo. It's Gunnar Stockton check into those little bubble screens when he doesn't feel like he has open receivers down the field. So if he doesn't get confidence, if the offensive line doesn't give him confidence and he doesn't get confidence, and I don't know how you get confidence amongst 102,000 people that hate you and are screaming for your bloody murder, but he better have it for this game because he's got to push it down the field more.
What was your expectation for Georgia coming into the year? Because Texas, hasn't gotten off to the best start, but we were talking about them as national championship contenders. We know that LSU has a really good football team, if not a football coach that is suspect at times in Brian Kelly. We'll see what that looks like against Florida at home tomorrow night. But for you, where were you on the season coming in, and how big of a game is this for you to be able to accomplish whatever it is that you think the final goal for this particular team should be?
Well, I think Kirby Smart has done for the Georgia football faithful what every football program wants their coach to do for them. and that is we won the SEC last year, and Georgia fans felt like it was a failed year because we were not in the national championship game. And I think that's the standard that he has set. And look, you can call it unrealistic. It is unrealistic, but the fan base expects to be in the mix in the final few games for a national championship, and even winning an SEC championship, not enough. What I love are all of the pundits telling us that Georgia's not Georgia anymore, that Kirby's lost a step, that, he can't get it done on offense with Mike Bobo. All of those things I think play into what Kirby loves to do. And that is us against the world. They hate us, boys. I mean, what was it, a couple of years ago where they said we're going 7-5. It's like one rando online that said that.
One player after they won the national championship
said 6-6.
Unbelievable.
The audacity. No, that is. I don't think there's a coach.
The audacity
in college football that better weaponizes that than Kirby. It was Saban, and we know who he learned from. Sure. But that's why, Matt, that's what it is for me, because last year, Georgia was coming off that 18-point loss at Ole Miss, one of the worst moments of the Kirby era.
Horrible.
And I remember rooting for Georgia in that game because I said, I do not want to play Georgia coming off their worst moment. They don't stack those moments. And obviously that's how it played out. I didn't love the fact that Georgia just sleepwalked their way to a win over Austin Peay because it does provide all of that, as Saban put it, that yummy rat poison.
Yeah, the best thing about the Austin Peay game was that it was on SEC Network Plus and nobody saw it. That was the best thing. That was the best thing about the game. It was just
fair. I had to work too hard to get it.
It was a disgusting offensive performance, and I hope that our coach has used that to his advantage. But here's the deal. I mean, I'm not your X's and O's guy. Y'all have plenty of X's and O people that can break this down better than me. But I think Georgia's defense is fairly elite. I think Kirby Smart is always going to present a good defense. I think that defense has always presented problems, not just for Josh Heupel, but for Tennessee. I don't think, you fact-check me on this, Lucas, I don't think Tennessee scored more than 17 points against Kirby Smart.
Nope, not in the Heupel era. Nope.
And so, I think the defense is going to present, it's all about whether Joey Aguilar can exploit the corners and exploit what, on the other side of the ball, exploit what Josh is always trying to do in terms of spreading out the defense and exposing cornerback. So, I mean, I think our offensive line and our quarterback has to stand up. If we do, we'll win the football game. If we don't, we lose the football game. I think it's just that simple.
Do you like going to games at Neyland?
I've been once. I watched as Neyland Stadium destroyed the wonderful historic career of Dolly Parton in one 10-minute span of time. I thought it was horrific.
That was tough.
What these people did to that beautiful, beautiful woman.
Robert and I saw Murphy that day. This was 2 years ago at the Georgia game. We were in the same section.
They remind me exactly what happened because she didn't have her IFB in or something like that.
It was a technical snafu, and she couldn't hear any of the music, and it was off, and she was trying to sing, and it was
like Peyton escorted her out onto the field. It was between quarters, and she was just going to sing Rocky Top, and she ended up singing every fourth word and letting the stadium sing, and it's Dolly. And
yeah, she made it work.
Yeah, of course she did. But yes, it was tough. It was tough.
It was bad. I've long said that, but people know of my longtime affection and love of Dolly Parton, and I get reminded often on my show that Dolly Parton is a Tennessee Volunteers fan. And I respond by saying, and that is proof that there are no perfect people on earth. Because if she were a Georgia Bulldog, I think she'd be perfect.
He's Matt Murphy. The radio show from 3 to 7. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's sure as hell fun. On WTN Super Talk 99.7.
Hey, my wife brought dog balls for y'all, so there's some dog balls.
Thank you.
Do you bark at people in Neyland, or do you?
No, I don't bark. I'm not a barker. You know that. I don't like the barkers.
I don't know.
That's
I heard a whimper down the hallway. Sounded like a dog.
I don't understand.
These are delightful.
You just got to know how to act, right? I mean, you talk about Neyland State. If you're in enemy territory, you just got to know how to act. Root for your team. Don't vocally exclaim when bad things happen to the other team. I mean, just to understand how to act, understand where you are, you should be fine. If you win, say, hey, good game, y'all will get us next time. If you lose, say, way to go, guys, it was your day. Wonderful that you had us here. And just get the hell out of there as quickly as possible and avoid the drunks. That's all you got to do.
Do you want to address the awkward situation that Lucas put you in by leaving you off the show tweet? It was very woke of you. Did I use that correctly?
I want to appreciate Buck Rising here publicly on 104.5 The Zone for having my back, for saying, hey, you got another guest coming on the show. I feel like you're kind of disrespecting that guest by not putting him on the official show tweet.
3 other guests today all made it on the show tweet.
And I feel like Lucas's excuse is pretty weak sauce. I mean, he's like, oh, well, it wouldn't fit on the show. I mean, they don't do that anymore, Lucas. Elon Musk stopped limiting your ability to put things on the Twitter a long time ago.
Not an excuse, Murph, a reason. We talk about this all the time. There are excuses and reasons. I run out of a certain amount of characters to where the audience can't see the little GIF in the YouTube link that I put. And so the Georgia fan's going to be the first to go. These are delicious, by the way.
Thank you for the food that you brought me.
Right,
You're off the tweet.
Right, you're off the tweet. By the way, these dog balls in my mouth, so good. So good.
Better hope you don't have dog balls in your mouth tomorrow.
Robert, you want one of these?
The wife cooks for me. I know you have some. I have some for Lucas. I mean, rather for Buck, but I don't think he'll eat them.
He'll eat them with a fork and knife.
You know, we talked about you on the show for like 30 minutes.
Did you?
About the knife and fork thing.
What for?
The French fry thing.
For those who don't know,
I don't like eating them with my hands.
Jackson Williams is Matt Murphy's producer who produced this show for a stretch.
Keep him.
And he was, we like Jackson. He's a good enough guy.
Depends
as long as he's in the other room.
Yeah.
Jackson brought up the fact that you eat French fries with a knife and fork.
I don't like the grease on my hands.
And the thing that bothers me, and it doesn't bother me that you eat them with a fork. It bothers me that you eat them with a knife and fork.
Yeah, it's so unnecessary.
Why can't you just spear them with the fork?
No,
I know.
true.
Whatever. You do you, brother. You do you.
You're
It's all
damn
good.
right.
I eat them with mustard myself. So.
Well, we appreciate you, Murphy. Good luck tomorrow. We may see you at Neyland. We may not.
Any predictions there, Lucas? I mean, are you a predicting kind of guy?
Go ahead.
Not necessarily, but we're going to be there. This is as there for the taking as it's always been. For me to say Tennessee loses would just be BVS, so I have to say Tennessee wins.
Oh yeah, sure. No, I get it.
He said Tennessee wins with a mouthful of dog balls.
Well, I've got money on Georgia and the 3.5. I'm giving up.
It's now up to 4.
4.5.
Is it 4.5?
No, just 4. Calm down. It's 4.5.
Okay. I think Georgia manages to put together enough offense, and our defense is good enough. But should be a great game. I mean, obviously, all eyes of America are on the game. I'm very excited.
At Matt Murphy Show on Twitter, because you won't see it on my show tweet.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, buddy. Brett Kern next. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props to the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. I'm going to take this opportunity to put my money on the Vols +4 hosting the Bulldogs tomorrow. I'm also going to take the over 50.5 right now in your DraftKings Sportsbook app when you use code THEZONE. That's one word, THEZONE, to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. 21 plus, Tennessee only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. Love kicking it on a Friday with Brett Kern, Titans legend, hanging out in studio. Game picker extraordinaire, Lee Corso. Get out of the way.
It's not true.
Well, I don't know, bud.
I'm not putting any money on anything, so what is it,
That's okay. I'm not allowed to bet on the NFL. So, this is for entertainment purposes only. We warned people against tailing you, just so you don't.
Please don't.
So you don't have social media, but they'll find you. They're very effective that way, especially the gamblers. Always good to see you. Thanks for coming in. We are excited for this game tomorrow in particular. Brett, have you been to Neyland Stadium before?
I did. Bryce and I went last year for UT Alabama.
Ah, nice.
Quite an experience. And then the year prior to that, we went down to Tuscaloosa for the same Tennessee at Alabama.
Is Bryce a big Vols fan?
I think he just wants to experience just SEC football.
Nice. Did y'all storm the field?
No. No, I'm a big.
That's it. Nope.
Hey, if the game's over with, I'm out. I want to get to my car. I don't want to get stuck in traffic.
For sure.
And I was very unfamiliar with Knoxville, and it was our first game there, right?
Mm-hmm. That's all the traffic you're beating is down on the field after that game.
There was still traffic.
Oh yeah.
There was still traffic.
I don't think I've ever been caught up in anything as bad as Knoxville post-game traffic, and it was just the one.
Dude, Knoxville traffic in general.
It's bad.
It's 40 down there at 5 p.m. Eastern. Woo! It's way worse than even when I was in school.
Well, we're not here to talk about traffic with Brett Kern. Though we are getting to a certain age where traffic does come up on my list of concerns as I get ready to go somewhere. For the Titans, Brett, we talked to you about the game on Monday. Obviously, we talked about the penalties. We talked about the sins, self-inflicted negatives as described. This game against the Rams is going to be tough. I do want to ask you, though, about J.C. Latham ruling himself out before the injury.
I don't know if I've seen that before. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
I want to talk to you about this because me as a media person, as you as a player that I covered, that was always the most no-fly zone thing ever. If you guys talked publicly about injuries, God knows what would happen to you. You'd be sent to the shadow realm that I send Bert to when he misbehaves. JC, it was particularly frustrating because it is helpful to know that JC Latham will be out on Sunday for the media. It is not helpful because we had just convinced Titans PR to let us talk to injured players in the locker room, and that is never going to happen again.
That will be done.
Yes, that will end very very quickly that way. But just like the shell game that you guys are playing knowing that guys are dealing with injuries on a week by week basis, and knowing that you have to keep those things close to the vest basically until kickoff.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, if you were hurt, you wouldn't even. I can't tell you how many guys would just hang out in the weight room. Or the training room, or even back in the equipment room with Joey and Matt. And
I've seen Henry hiding from us before. He's tough to hide.
And then, you kind of peek your head out to see if you guys are still there or not. But a lot of times, if you were hurt, you just wouldn't even come into where the media was. So that was kind of surprising, because I was looking at Jimmy's tweet on, I just, saw the Rams. They had 3, starting offensive linemen not practice on Wednesday, but they're obviously, 2 of them are back. And then all of a sudden to hear, Latham kind of declare himself out with a one-word answer. I was like, "Oh, that's not good." So it's not good that he's out. First of all, because it's a hip injury for somebody like that. That can linger for a while. So hopefully it's hopefully he can heal up and get back out there.
Well, expand on that if you would, and obviously, different positions, but he said it wouldn't matter what position he played. It's a hip. He described it as a hip strain, and that is something that's now lingered. This has been a lingering issue for him for an extended period of time. Obviously, you're doing different things with your hips than J.C. Latham would be doing on a football field, but that seems hugely problematic for the season, not just for Sunday against the Rams.
I mean, no matter what position you play, you need your hips.
Yeah.
And so I think, I don't know, I'll be curious to see if this is just a 1-week thing, kind of rest and let it rest up. How bad is the strain? Where is the strain? Is it top of the quad? Is it your hip flexor? Is it more towards your groin? Because even just in that tight little space there in your hips, your groin, now you're looking at your lateral movement. You can still go vertically, but horizontally is tough. Your quad, just how are you able to squat and get down? So different, it just depends where that strain is. And is it something where if it's serious enough, is he going on the 4-week IR, right?
Offensive tackle depth, not necessarily a strength too. I mean,
you look at what happened last week, and Odu came in and gave up a sack, and then there was another sack, and so I think I'll be really curious to see how that plays out this week. with the Rams and their pass rush, it's, similar to Denver, like where they like to bring it. And if they're going to all out blitz, if they saw that on film, last week against the Broncos, I mean, why not? It's a repeat league. Why not do the same thing? And so, I was kind of curious. I heard Coach Mack talking earlier about trying to complete a deep ball early to kind of, have him back off a little bit. But even Cam, if he has the ability to find a little hole, on an all-out blitz, like, is it something where he can do like he did early in the game, that first quarter where he ran for 10 yards and slid and got down? Obviously, he got called back because of a penalty. Yeah. But, is that something that he can do? I know he's not a big runner, but if that's something that he can do to help himself, with the Rams blitzing and how often they're going to blitz, just be able to find a hole in that blitz and just run, even if it's running for 4, 5, 6 yards, enough to make it respectable, and the Rams have to respect that.
Brett Kern is in studio with us. We'll pick some games with him here in just a second. Quick updates on practice. No sign of Tavondre Sweat at practice. That's the third straight day of no T Sweat, at least seen at practice. He's dealing with an ankle situation. Quandre Diggs, also 3 straight days of no practice. They played a lot of 3 safety on defense for Denard Wilson on Sunday, Brett, against the Denver Broncos. It seemed like a favorable situation for them in particular. So if Diggs can't go and Kevin Winston Jr. has been dealing with this hamstring limitation, he's been limited, but he has practiced. Something to keep an eye on when you've already got a star corner, theoretically, on a snap count on Sunday. You want to pick games or you want to keep talking football?
Let's do it because we've got some games to roll through here. By the way, Khalil Mullings did return to practice after not practicing yesterday with the ankle injury. All right, 5 and 5. We've got 5 college football matchups, 5 NFL matchups. We'll start in the college game. Quickly around the room, we'll motor through some of these. Number 18, USF. They are a ranked team after the upset over Florida, and they're not sneaking up on anybody this time as they go to number 5, Miami. Miami, 17.5-point favorites.
It's a lot.
It's a lot against the feisty Bulls under Alex Golish.
But it should be a lot, Brett.
It should be. Miami's 15th in rush success rate, and they're 9th in passing, which is really good. And I think USF is also just taking advantage of, Boise State and Florida just doing dumb things. Boise State just could not convert inside the red zone. How long does I don't want to call it magic of what USF is doing, but how long does that hold up? But I think Miami is going to be able to cover the 17.5.
I'll take USF to cover just because Miami's scoring defense has not been overwhelmingly great at the start of the season, and that was one of their biggest issues last year. I know they fired the coordinator, and obviously personnel changes a great deal in college year over year, so it's not something that they can't correct. But I don't know. I like USF to push that.
I like USF a lot, but I agree. I think Miami covers. They snuck up on Florida. They shouldn't have. They've played Alabama close the last 2 years. They beat Boise. That was just a pitiful performance by Florida. But I do like USF and their track potentially to the playoff, but I think Miami might be a better, more well-rounded football team this year. Florida at LSU. Speaking of, the Gators going to the number 3 Tigers, who are 7.5-point favorites. Rivalry game, Brett, and Billy Napier is just trying to avoid being dead in the water once again as Florida's head coach.
Yeah, it's. I think both teams have kind of
like too dead in the water coach talk.
That's what it is in Gainesville.
Both teams. I mean, what could have been, if Florida wins, they beat, South Florida. What this matchup could have been, but I think both teams have kind of like the Nussmeier's, only averaging 4.8 per drop back. Just kind of a lot to see. What are they? And so I think Legway holding him out during camp. It looks like he's kind of struggling to get into a rhythm. Get into a groove. Does that continue? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a dogfight, and I think Florida covers.
Sweat officially out.
Okay, there you go.
Sunday. So that interior pressure that's going to be on a premium, go get him, Jeff.
Man.
Might have to change my pick real quick.
We'll get there. Buck, LSU, 7.5-point favorites against Florida.
I won't have to change my pick.
Shock here to no one.
Respectfully. I will take Florida cover. I will take Florida cover. I think that Billy Napier, you just can't. Again, I tried to take the Billy Napier timeout situation out of the conversation with Chris Doring earlier because I just thought the way that game played itself out, there were so many miscues. And there are things that you can hyperfixate on, like for Brian Callahan, we hyperfixated on the lack of challenge with Alec Iamander, and that's a meaningful part of the game, but it's not the whole game, right? they have to learn from their mistakes. Billy Napier has no choice but to learn from their mistakes. And Brian Kelly, if you're going to get one over any coach in the SEC that looks like I'm just doing a thing there, not based on the competency of his team, but who Brian Kelly is, like that feels right for at least a cover.
He got Florida back playing good football, even as disastrous as their start was last year. I think he's going to get this team to keep fighting. We'll see if it's enough at the end of the year, but I do think they cover. For some reason, I feel like this is going to be a good game. I'm with both of y'all. A&M at Notre Dame. Ranked matchup. Texas A&M looking to avenge last year's loss at home against the Irish. That one came down to the wire. Notre Dame 6.5-point favorites, Brett.
Yeah, it's weird. Notre Dame obviously playing at Miami, then having a bye week.
Weird.
Carr looking, he looked okay. I think Miami got him pretty good, but the first game, but obviously to not have a game the next week. So, to come back and play Texas A&M. But Marcel Reed, local product, he's off to a great start. 0 picks, only 1 sack and 74 dropbacks. And Moss and Owens, their 2 backs, 6.5 per carry. So I think A&M covers. I feel pretty good about that.
I think A&M wins.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
That's where I'm at.
It's a 1-game sample size for Notre Dame, but I don't know. I think that Texas A&M is a very competent team. I don't think the home field advantage of South Bend is anything that they can't handle, given that they play in the SEC on a regular basis. I think this Notre Dame team is a bit more fraught, and 6 points at home feels way too big.
Yeah, I don't think Mike Elko is going to let their defense struggle the way it did in big moments last year. So I agree. I think A&M pulls off the upset. Vanderbilt at South Carolina. Vandy has lost 16 straight against the Gamecocks. South Carolina, a 3.5-point favorite.
Yes. If Vanderbilt could not just punt to Vakari Swain, I
get it out of bounds.
Just get it out of bounds. Somebody that has, look, South Carolina has 8 touchdowns, and 3 of them are from him on punt return.
Beamer ball, baby.
One defensive touchdown and 4 offensive touchdowns. Sellers are getting sacked 12% of the time on a drop back. They just haven't looked like I think everybody thought they would yet. I still think that could happen. But the way Vandy's playing, defense is playing, you got the swag of DP. I think Vandy covers.
I don't know how much of it is real or just I want to believe it, but I'll take him to win.
Yeah, I agree.
Vandy money line, baby. Let's go.
I agree. I think Vandy wins, and I think South Carolina's been overrated from the jump. I think there's a trapdoor under the Gamecocks. Quickly, as a career special teamer, do you like Shane Beamer with that approach? The Beamer ball, the special teams always being a factor. Like, do you gravitate towards coaches like that?
Yeah, I love it. You think with South Carolina, the guy's he's had 5 punt returns and 3 of them are touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a pretty good hit rate.
That's not bad.
All right. We're going to be in the building. Georgia at Tennessee, top 15 matchup. 4.5-point favorites are the Bulldogs. And that line's been all over the place this week. Brett?
Yeah, I have the Vols. I think the Vols are going to win it. Ben Jones is going to be extremely upset with me. I think he told me to make sure that I said Georgia's going to win by 14. He made that clear to me.
Ben is listening.
Yeah, yes.
Hello, Benjamin.
But yeah, I think the Vols win. Georgia's looked, they've looked okay. And I think the Vols, who they've played, Syracuse, ETSU, but they've gone out there and done what they're supposed to do. So being at Neyland, crowd's going to be rocking. Game day, last time game day was there, I think everybody remembers what happened. And so I think the Vols win it.
I'll take Tennessee. Tennessee to win. Tennessee to win in the over.
Let's go. I'm with you. I believe.
It's a parlay, like a little parlay, huh?
A little same game parlay.
Okay.
Let's flip over to the NFL.
Wait, you're not going to say anything?
No, Tennessee wins.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe.
No, he's just kind of stuck in
to ask. But
He said, I believe.
The Jaguars are at the Bengals.
Murder him!
Another battle of big cats. Bengals 3.5-point favorites at home. Lackluster offensive performance. They survived it against the Browns. The Jags, fine. They won by multiple scores in a game suspended.
Still missing open receivers, Trevor Lawrence.
One great. They beat the Panthers last week. Jags at Bengals. What do we think?
Yeah, the Browns the Bengals are coming off that great second half performance against the Browns with 7 yards of total offense.
God.
But I don't know. Cincinnati's struggling. They struggled a little bit with the backs of the Browns, and ETN, averaged 8.9 per carry last week and had a great game. This is tough. I don't like the Jags, but I think they cover. I think it's going to be really, really tight. I think it's a field goal, and at 3.5, it's going to be tight. So I take the Jags to cover.
I'd take the Jags too. I am such a believer in Joe Burrow, but it's just Joe Burrow. I mean, it's Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and that's the list right now.
I'm going with Joe Burrow and the Bengals to win and cover. Broncos coming off that win against the Titans are 1.5-point favorites in Indy. Danny Dimes trying to keep it going after that incredible debut last week. Colts haven't been 2-0 since 2009. Brett, crazy.
Wow. That's crazy.
They win in week 1 for the first time since 2013 in Miami, a blowout win, and looking for their first 2-0 start in over 15 years.
Brett, I swear to God, the Colts are the most overhyped team, not named the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL. Like preseason, people talk about the Colts as if they are perpetual contenders, and they have not been meaningfully good.
I feel like nobody was talking about them that way this year.
No, but this is the first year in so long, Lucas, that I feel like people aren't on the Colts.
I just feel like
Fitzy pick them?
Fitzy did pick them.
I feel like there's still this like Peyton Manning when he was there, Dallas Clark.
This is the Peyton Manning Bowl right here.
Dominating. That is true. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Colts scored on all 7 of their possessions last week.
Insane.
Miami blitzed 48% of the time, and Daniel Jones was able to kind of handle that. But obviously, that's not the same. The Dolphins blitz package is probably not the same as Denver. So, yeah, I don't know. I got Denver to cover.
Denver to cover and win.
I'm with you. All right, some quick hitters here before we get to the Titans. Eagles -1.5 in Kansas City. Big matchup. Super Bowl rematch here at Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas City coming back from Brazil. Jalen Carter will play after the spitting incident. What do we think?
I mean, that is huge that he's not suspended for this game. I think that's a huge factor. But, you know, the Eagles secondary is struggling. They're not the same defense as last year. The secondary struggled, but, you know, Kansas City doesn't have Rashid Rice or Xavier Worthy. So,
yeah,
no explosiveness in that offense.
Yeah, Kansas City, their left guard, left tackle, both finished bottom as far as pass block win rate last week against the Chargers. So I think, I mean, you know, the Eagles can win by 3. I think they'll win by a touchdown.
Eagles.
All right, Kansas City hasn't started 0-2 in over 10 years. 2014 is the last time. But I agree. I think
times
the
are
Eagles
changing.
Win. All right, Bucks at Texans. Texans -2.5.
Bucks,
man. The Texans offensive line.
Yeah.
Texans are frauds.
Yeah. It was a struggle. It was a slog offensively last week at SoFi Stadium. All right, Rams at Titans. The Rams are 5.5-point favorites coming in quickly. This is from Teron Davenport. Teron Davenport of ESPN's Twitter. Brian Callahan says Oli Udoh is not for sure the guy that will replace J.C. Latham at right tackle this week. Could that open the door for John Njoku? I guess we'll see on Sunday. Titans 5.5-point dogs. Cam Ward's first ever game at Nissan Stadium.
Run out Brandon Crenshaw Dixon against the Rams on Sunday.
Rams have covered 5 straight road games. Yeah, and I actually had the Titans covering the 5.5 until this news has hit the airwaves with me being on the mic. So I think the Rams, unfortunately, pains me. I think the Rams will cover and win.
I was wrong last week. Titans didn't get shelled. They covered the 8.5, but this feels like a double-digit loss.
I think we see a similar result in week 2. Titans hang in.
The good thing is the competitiveness of this team is there. It's there. You just got to shore up on these penalties that have been an issue, you know, last year. Obviously, now it's carried over to this year. You know, can you stop? I mean, 19 targets with Puka and Devontae Adams. You know, and we talked about Matthew Stafford, like his back. What's it gonna? He went out there and had 109, QB rating. So
against a way better pass rush.
Yeah, against a very good pass rush.
So unfortunately, gosh. And it's going to be hot, too.
Oh.
That turf. Oh.
Nice and toasty.
Oh.
Yeah, the synthetic turf, that doesn't help
adds.
things.
I mean, if it's going to be 95, you're looking at every bit of 110. Even with the coconut husk. And not the black.
Even with the coconut husk?
Yes.
Not even the coconut husk.
Not even the coconut husk.
Well, buddy, you're welcome to stick around for polls. I don't want to, bring you in for 20 minutes and send you packing, but we won't keep you here if you have.
Hey, we got Friday night football tonight. FRA versus Pope.
Okay.
Fired up about it?
We're fired up at our place on the hill. Feel pretty good about it. So, got to go get my smoothie, my acai bowl from Everbowl over there in East Nashville. Sorry,
a little Friday tradition.
Little Friday tradition.
That's okay. We do free plugs all the time when people give us stuff.
That's right.
I'll take a free acai bowl.
All right, enough. Thank you, Brett.
Well, I'm not going to go get it and then bring it back here. I'm going home.
He's not literally at your beck and call, Lucas.
Not DoorDash.
Brett Kern back in studio. Well, are you coming to Mount Juliet? You don't have to.
It might be awkward because I drove a Raptor for a while, and now I don't. And that's where I got it serviced. But it's okay. Well, I'll be there.
Yeah, they've got like a picture of you up at Two Rivers
That'd
Ford.
be-
They
that'd
do
be
not
He's
let this
literally
man-
getting his oil changed while we
That's
are going to
smart.
be at Two Rivers. I may do it too. Why not? Two Rivers on Monday. Brett and Ben hanging out with us. Thank you, buddy.
We'll see you.
Last call for phone calls. We'll talk about Tavondre Sweat and J.C. Latham ruled out for this game. What does that mean for the Titans tackle rotation? Question mark. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Sure that you are financially independent. You want to make sure that you are secure as far as your finances go, because if you are currently experiencing financial insecurity or a lack of financial independence, you know what stress that can bring on your life, your family's life, and how many different things it can impact. Trajan Wealth is here to help you with exactly that, whether it's wealth management strategies or retirement planning or tactical investments that are going to put you in position to succeed. Trajan Wealth has helped so many people, and they can help you too. As a veteran, Trajan Wealth CEO Jeff Jr. fully appreciates the importance of true independence. He founded Trajan Wealth as an independent firm, allowing fiduciary advisors the ability to customize a portfolio to meet your unique goals and needs. So call Trajan Wealth to discuss options for achieving that financial independence today. 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000. 2 locations here in Middle Tennessee, Brentwood and Franklin, or online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement. Last call for phone calls. If you got them, 615-737-1045 is the number. For we all collectively, Lucas, go to the liquor store to supply ourselves with goods, cigars for Ron Slay. We offer them as tribute so that we can attend his tailgate tomorrow.
I have things to do.
You don't have things to do.
I do.
No, you don't have things to do. You've rewatched the entire Lord of the Rings series. You don't have things to do.
That was years ago.
I will say,
It's last week.
thanks to Lucas, I got to play in my first Dungeons and Dragons game last night.
What do you mean thing? What do I have to do with that?
You're friends with the guy who invited me.
Oh, yeah.
Best friends with the guy who invited me.
Yeah, Robert hopped on with some of my buddies that played Dungeons and Dragons.
Firebolt! They were like, what's the...
Wait, firebolt?
Firebolt, yes.
What is a firebolt?
It is like a bolt of fire. That last night...
Is that a fireball?
No, two different things, completely different things. Fireball would be a larger thrown object of fire. A firebolt would be something quick, like, hey-ya!
Speaking of fireballs, did you see, and I don't know what college it was, but you know how teams have media day, right? Where you'll take pictures for promos and stuff like that, whether it's for the school's in-house stuff or for the television broadcast. This kid, you know how they'll do the thing where they let you hold a flammable substance and like catch a part of you on fire for the photo?
Oh, no.
This quarterback lit his hand on fire and, came away largely unscathed, but you can see him visibly like in pain because he lit his hand on fire for the photo. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I don't know what school it was for, but it was making the rounds on social media earlier today. So Lucas is picking Tennessee to beat Georgia at home for the first time in 8 years. Not at home, but for the first time in 8 years straight up.
At home would be the first time since 2015. The Trevor Daniel punt. That's the best vantage point I ever had at Neyland Stadium was for that game. Crazy comeback.
I bet in my DraftKings Sportsbook app on the Vols, and I bet on the over. 50.5 feels low for a game like that. I mean, I know it's Georgia and Kirby Smart, but I feel like one of those two teams should cover just flat out in the way that a lot of these games have gotten lopsided over the course of the last couple of years. The other part of this is for Sunday with the Rams coming in to play the Titans. I know we've talked precious little Titans today, but the Vols Georgia is just a bigger game, and the Titans, we'll see. No Tavondre Sweat. I mean, J.C. Latham is important. Keeping Cam Ward clean is the most important thing. But if you're going to have a shot at Los Angeles, I don't know how you do it without being able to generate interior pressure. I don't know how they're not just going to key on Jeff the entire game. And
he's going to have just a superhuman performance, which Jeff was excellent last week in Denver. Excellent.
He was good.
Beyond the penalties.
The two penalties. He would have been excellent had it not been for the costly penalties.
But yeah, that makes it tough. The quickest path to the quarterback this week is right up the middle. And not to mention what Sweat means for your ability to stop the run. And they do lean on Kyron Williams and the ability to run the football.
Well, they're going to run the air out of the football. If I was them, I wouldn't put Stafford in the position to get hit a bunch of times. Just run it. Yeah, that's not a favorable matchup on Sunday, but they're not going to have many favorable matchups this year. Alex in Smyrna, before we do some polls. What do you got, Alex?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm a big fan of the show. I am coming by on Monday, Mount Juliet, Two Rivers Fort, but I'm coming by just to see Bert. I'm a big fan of Bert, big fan of Lucas. Buck is okay, but I'll be there. Happy Friday, guys.
Looking forward to seeing you, Alex. Make sure you bring some non-perishable food.
Yes.
Love you, Alex.
I'm going to go get the autograph.
All right. We'll sign your cans of green beans and then put them in a Ford.
Oh, don't do that to the less fortunate. Robert's signature on a can of green beans.
It might be worth something someday.
I feel like that's most people's position on the show, and I'm okay with that. Polls?
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, where we will be on Monday, every single show. So come out and, again, bring your non-perishable food items for a great cause. What's the most positive story you've seen in sports this week? The rare Yankees fan around here, Karen, says Aaron Judge tying Joe DiMaggio for 4th on the Yankees' all-time home run list.
And that concludes our baseball coverage for the season.
Yep. Tyler said, just posted a picture of Speaker of the House in Tennessee, Cameron Sexton, with Pope Leo holding a Vols jersey. So the Pope has blessed us.
Whose number is it?
It's 14 because he is Pope Leo the 14th.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to think of who is currently 14 on the team. I mean, obviously Eric Berry comes to mind, but that's pretty positive. Who you got, Vols or Dogs? 54.6% voted Vols.
You're going to go after the Pope if you lose?
No, I will not go after His Holiness if we lose. It'll be the Vols' fault, not the Pope's. What is the Titans' biggest matchup advantage against the Rams? John says home field advantage. Carl says Titans' special teams is an advantage. Thomas says Jeffrey Simmons versus anyone.
Jeff versus anyone is an advantage, but without Sweat, that advantage is, I wouldn't say outright negated, but it is significantly less.
What is the more impactful right tackle absence this week? Is it J.C. Latham, who's out for the Titans, or is it David Sanders Jr., who's out for the Vols? 93% say it's Latham.
Oh, I don't know if it's that lopsided. I think that's just
it's
Titans.
Latham. It's Latham. I mean, we've seen
93%. I mean,
sure, but I think that's the answer. I mean, we've seen a sample size of the depth Tennessee has. Jesse Perry's played well. This is a different level of competition, but he's played well. Depth is a concern for the Titans' offensive line.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, hell, the starters are a concern based on last week. Those the polls?
They are.
Let's shut this thing down. Go to Knoxville. Have a
Braylon Staley wears 14.
Have a great weekend. If you're out hanging out in Knoxville tomorrow and you see us, stop by, say hi. We'll be hanging out at Ron Slay's tailgate. We'll even see John Reed. Titans on Sunday.
Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Erect